5:30, and I will not call the meeting order. We have a shared vision in the Fern Ridge School District to provide excellence for every student so that each will reach their greatest potential. Thank you to the members of the public who have joined us. As a reminder, school board meetings are a work session and meetings of board held in public, providing an opportunity to observe the board's discussion and action. In an effort to conduct official board business, we ask that the audience be respectful and refrain from questions, comments, and unnecessary noise while the board conducts the meeting. Also, please note that all board meetings are live streamed, posted on the school board area of the website. The only thing we got on the agenda today is to discuss the K235 reconfiguration presentation, Mr. Carpenter, and discuss it.
Yep, I'll try to get through this in 15 or 20 minutes, and the rest of the time will be for your discussion or any questions. So I worked with the administrative team to put this together, and that's what this page describes. Let's go to the next one. I sent this to you a week ago, so hopefully this isn't new. Just kind of a quick summary. Earlier last school year, beginning of the year, we created a group of elementary school staff, including both teachers and classified, to discuss this model, share data with them, create a pros cons list. Included 15 folks. First meeting was October 1st, the second on October 22nd. And then at the end of the year, we didn't meet, but kind of sent them an email update summarizing everything that we did throughout the year, and also sharing what was going to take place over the summer and then into the fall, leading up to the board making this decision at the regular meeting in September next month. That committee came up with a larger pros con list. I've sent that to you. It's also on the website. On the reconfiguration page of our website, we summarized that list and showed a list of the bigger pros and cons. Why don't you go there real quick, Bree? So to kind of summarizing it, again, just a larger groups. That initial list has 30 or 40 things on it, but class size, distribution of students, scheduling flexibility, greater academic achievement. There's no blends. Class sizes are balanced. High need students or those needing special services spread out. I won't read all through this, but topic of instruction, PD, we believe will improve academic achievement. And then this culture, which has been talked about by board members over the course of the last year, creating kind of one district, one system. Some of the challenges, biggest one is really just change in relationships and traditions that have been created at each building. Busing, as you know, I've met with the bus barn multiple times. I think we have a plan that will work well, won't cost any more money. But if the board does elect to go this path, we'll get a committee together to kind of fine tune that throughout the course of this school year. And then parent disruption, definitely a negative. If I have 4 elementary kids that, are spread out, I'm going from having them in one school to 2 elementary schools. Definitely adds a level of complexity for parents when they are in elementary school. Okay, back to our presentation. And next page. After that initial meeting, group got together, we did staff presentations. On October 29th, all the elementary teachers went to Veneta. Kind of did a shorter presentation, talked about what the committee had been working on and answered questions. On November 5th, I visited both the middle school and the high school separately for a similar discussion, Q&A with them. Following the building presentations, a Google form was shared with staff to provide input and collect data. And that's what the next slide shows. We look at all of our staff, K-12. You can see about 52% either fall into I'm opposed or I have reservations but understand the need, and about 47% fall into I'm open to this, I'm on board with this. Relatively almost kind of an even 4 squares, not too much difference. But again, that's all staff. And when I say all staff, we put it out to all staff. 104 responded That's around 2/3 of our staff that actually completed it. See the numbers there on the left, it was 52 K-5 employees, whether classroom or classified staff member. And the exact same number, 612, 52 from the middle school and high school. To break up, more classified staff completed it than certified. 38 teachers completed it, 66 classified staff members completed it. Again, that's a picture of every staff member in the district. If we break it out by the next slide, there's K-5 versus 612, you can see that K-5, much less support. 46% are opposed to it, with only 14% in the highest two categories. And it's almost kind of flipped with staff member 612, over half are on board and approaching 80%, kind of in the top two categories.
Was it 2/3 of the K-5? Is it about the same?
That's around 2/3 of all staff. I think it's pretty balanced, so.
Was responses from K-5 is what I'm asking. Was it a lot higher because it affected them?
I don't think that much higher,
Okay.
a little bit higher. Off the top of my head, definitely we have more classified staff at the elementary schools, so there is more staff there. So I actually think a percentage of people that responded was probably a little bit higher, 612, than it was at elementary. Because it looks like 52 responded to both. There's slightly more employees in our two elementary schools. Okay, certified versus classified. So this breaks it out to show you that teachers were actually a little bit more in favor of it than classified folks. I think that's all the breakout on that slide. Yeah, actually go back to that one. So, and that's actually pretty significantly different, right? Only, yeah, so those are percentages, not raw numbers. Only 17% of class of teachers said I'm totally opposed to this. Again, this is all schools. While 42% of classified staff were opposed to this.
Kathleen has a question, or she has raised a hand.
Oh,
Sorry.
I think you may have answered this already. Sorry, I may have missed it though, but the classified responses are almost double that of certified. Does that mirror actual staffing, or did just more classified take the survey?
they're definitely not double, so I think I'll that'll be a takeaway from this. Is Miss Marshall in here? We'll get you I'll send you an email with the exact percentages of people, but just off the top of my head, I would say there was greater participation on the classified side.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, next slide. And this is certified versus classified at the elementary school alone, or so both elementary schools, K-5, kind of similar. Only 37% of teachers were opposed to this, so 1 out of 3 essentially, a little bit greater, while 60% of classified staff.
0 classified staff said I'm on board with this.
Yeah, zero classified staff at the elementary level said they're on board. Next slide. Fall staff survey. So this is the same thing with middle school and high school teachers, certified on the left. There was no certified teacher in the middle school or high school that's opposed to this. Classified on the right, even the classified, much higher percentage of folks in support of it at the upper grade levels. All right. So again, the next thing we kind of went to was interviewing other districts. We interviewed 4. North Bend, which is actually starting this right now. Their board elected to go this path. I think it was February for the start of the 26-27 school year. So we talked to them about kind of how they got here, why they were doing it, some of their biggest challenges. And then 3 districts, Astoria, Lincoln County, Lewis, and Dillard, that have all done this, within the last 10 years. We have kind of we'll go there now if you wanted to read through the kind of summary of the notes of those conversations with those 4 districts. They are on the reconfiguration page.
And you emailed them to us, didn't you?
No, what I emailed you, so last week I emailed you two things. One, a list of kind of a summary of what every principal's opinion is on this. And then two, the board had asked that I reach out about, did they really see academic achievement?
yeah.
And I heard back from two people from Lincoln County and one person from Astoria. I didn't send it to North Bend because they haven't done it yet, and I didn't hear back from them. No, but I sent you that.
That's what I'm thinking. I read it. So.
Okay, next slide. Then next thing we did was we held two community forums. Those were on March. First one was on March 18th. If you want to view the slide deck, I think everybody has this document that we went over with them. The whole thing was recorded. It's posted on the website. Essentially sharing with folks that wanted to attend a lot of this information, what the history was, what surveys were saying, what the pros cons are, why we're looking at this, etc. Go ahead and go to the next slide. I think this is kind of, there was 20 people that attended the first community forum. And it just kind of goes through the questions we gave them. First one was, what's your level of support? That's how it broke out. Definitely the highest area was, I don't like this idea. Although the next highest, it's like about a quarter of them were on board. Next slide. So this was for our second community forum on May 19th. We only had 4 people, at least attending. I think there was more than that attended, but only 4 took the survey. So essentially, one person said they were on board, one person said, I have reservations, 2 people said, I'm opposed to this. So that was what we did in the spring, was those community forums next. Go ahead, next slide. We then did PTA and PALS presentations. So Ms. Marshall and I attended both. Real similar, kind of just a shorter summary of what we did in the community forums. Took questions from the folks, and those went well.
Excuse me.
Sure.
So can you elaborate a little bit on some of the feedback that you got from the PTA meetings?
I'm trying to think back.
I never saw any of that stuff. Did you guys send anything out about like the PALS meetings or the PTA meetings?
Yeah. I did, maybe you recall, Billy, but we specifically emailed PALS folks. So in the newsletters going out for those PTA and PALS meetings ahead of the time that we were coming there, that was included on their agenda items. We were identified as talking about this.
Did we say we're gonna use Parent Square or some other way of getting more representation of the?
It's coming. Okay. At the end of the year, we did another survey. As far as Lisa's questions, and I'm trying to think back, there wasn't, other than the PALS members, there was maybe, Veneta had more people. They had 4 or 5 people come, I think, specifically for this topic. Most of it was just questions. There was nothing, remember anything specific that was kind of out of the ordinary?
No, I was just looking to see if I had any notes on them.
Like I saw the email that you sent out said that you were going to present to PALS, but was there an email about the feedback?
Oh, probably not.
Okay.
No.
I thought I missed something. Yeah.
No. The only, what I was talking about was I tried to have PALS to get on their agenda early so they could promote that this was being talked about at our PALS meeting.
Say that.
Yeah, I don't remember anything specific. There was just similar questions like occurred at the staff meetings or the community forums. Questions about the pros and cons. There's nothing out of the ordinary. Okay, so we did those. Then what Mark was talking about, the board wanted to kind of do a larger survey. So we promoted the heck out of it, Parent Square, all the things. It was open May 20th to June 1st. We did Parent Square posts that were also shared on the website and Facebook 3 different times, May 20th, May 27th, and May 31st. I didn't receive any calls or emails on this topic. There were 123 responses from community while that was open. And that data is next. Can you make that bigger?
Yes.
So we wanted to get some demographics about who filled it out. The first one was, I'm a parent or guardian of this school. So you can see the largest percent were a parent or guardian. The second to last bar, I do not currently have children attending Fern Ridge School District schools. That was 22 people. My children will attend in the future. That was 13 people. And then scroll down. We had them select any that apply. That's like 99 folks of the 123 were a parent or guardian. 15 were a family member, 16 were a community member, 27 were staff members. Scroll down, or next slide, I guess. So this one, we asked them a question that they had written. There was a statement in the survey kind of talking about the reasoning that we were doing this. They all said they had read that. We asked if they'd participated in any of the things that I just described that had happened throughout the year, attended virtual presentation, a PALS, PTA, a community Zoom, etc. They put that in that information there. Next slide. Level of support, about 40%, 41.5% to be exact, were opposed to it. Red, I have reservations, was about 13. So in total, that was about 54, 55%. And about 45% were kind of on the other side. Either I'm on board or I'm open to this. So that's the bigger picture data, kind of similar to what the staff took of the 123 people that filled out the community survey. Okay. Transportation facilities, want to touch base on this real quick. Again, I haven't, while I toured both elementary schools with Dan, Ms. Marshall, to kind of confirm that we don't really think there needs to be any significant facility changes. I will, if we go this route, get a subcommittee that kind of dives into that. Same thing with transportation. I feel comfortable that we have at least two models that will work well, won't cost us anything else. But I will get a committee together to narrow that down so that it's ready to go in fall of 27 if this is our path. Next slide. Often we get asked this question to kind of address this issue. What other things have been investigated? Lots of times we've investigated boundary changes. There's a pro to that model. What it would do is it would even out the number of kids attending each school. Right now there's I want to say around 100 kid difference, maybe a little less than 100 kid difference between the two schools. However, it doesn't do anything to achieve the other benefits, meaning eliminating blends, meaning not having high class discrepancies, a class with 30 at one school in kindergarten and 19 at the other school in kindergarten. And it may actually result in more blends depending on the chunk of property that we take out and say, hey, you're going to Elmira. We could do nothing, definitely is an option. However, I just emphasize with the board, the difficulties that we're seeing with balancing class loads and things, they're only going to increase as we get below, as enrollment continues to drop. Birth rates are low, fertility rates are low. Our three smallest current grade levels are K1, 2. The trend is clear at the elementary level. We're seeing less kids out here. And so again, if we did nothing, it is not the end of the world. But these challenges are going to continue to grow, and we're not going to be able to see what I would hope would be some of the benefits of going to this model. We could look at capping class sizes and transferring students. So an example of that with this year, that's an example of that for this past year. We had a class of 30 kinders at Elmira. I don't remember what it was at Benito. Let's say it was 20. We could have said, okay, we're going to take 8 kids from Elmira and transfer them to Benito. Besides the difficulties of, and I've experienced that before, the difficulties of telling the parent that you're the one that got transferred and those tough conversations. And figuring out, who has siblings in the school. We don't want to do that. It becomes difficult then the following year. Do they stay there? Do they come back? And there will always be a cost to that because the kids will be bused. The route will pick them up at Elmira, go to Elmira, and then they would need to take them to the other school. And it's kind of a single year fix. And as you do that multiple years, it really becomes problematic. As they start to compound on each other and trying to figure out okay, shoot, we want these two, well, I don't wanna come back now, I've been here for 2 years and, well, you're coming back now. Creates difficult conversations down the road. So, I guess the other thing I would summarize on this page is if the board doesn't decide to go this route, I would not recommend boundary change. I would not recommend class caps and transferring students. I would recommend stay the course. Okay, next slide. If approved, this is kind of the plan to prepare. I mentioned it already, but we'll create a committee to look at the transportation proposals and refine that. I'll get a couple of people that'll facilitate staff discussions. I talked to administrators about that today in our first meeting, where we'll take one Wednesday a month for 8 Wednesdays, probably starting in October through May, and dedicate it to this topic. They'll talk about things from like school rules, handbooks, organizations, room assignments, facilities, making sure they like the transportation plan, how to support students and families with this change, team building, etc. We'll have 8 months of going through that work to get ready to go. We'll create a small committee to work through any facility needs, much like transportation. And I'll work with FRIA to ensure we're on the same page in regards to teaching assignments. We already have language in our CBA around what it looks like if I'm transferring Brian to work at Elmira or a different school, etc. So I just refer to the contract language. Essentially what we do is we take everybody that's currently at K2 and say you're at the K2 school, and everybody that's 3-5, you're at 3-5 school. And then we probably get some deadline, a month out and say, think about this is where you're assigned next year. Would you like to request to go to the other school? Yes, I would. We get all those requests in, administrators then sit down and see which of those requests, if we got any, we could fulfill. Okay, next slide. How am I doing for time? I'm 20 minutes. Ooh, I'm right at 20 minutes. We're almost done. In summary, it's definitely be a challenge, but I think there's no problem that we can't overcome or fix. We're willing to do the work. Academic achievement of our students is our highest priority. It's the opinion of your administrators for sure. This shift will help us in the years to come. Whether it's in the classroom, on the athletic field, or in the community, we're confident the benefits will show themselves in a wide range of areas down the road. Last slide, I think, is just kind of the recommendation. This is what you need to consider. It's a recommendation from all of your administrators that the board move to this model in the fall of 27. We're confident based on the current conditions as well as long-term, it's the best model to ensure future academic success and growth of our students. And 21 minutes. That was close.
So when you talk to the other schools, and you did mention that about academic achievement, what did they have to say about that?
I don't remember off the top of my head, but I emailed it to you last week. Off the top of my head, we got 2 reports from Lincoln County. One was, they were a little bit different. The first person described, yeah, we saw significant academic achievement. We think it really helped us. The other person essentially said it was really hard to pinpoint that their academic growth to the change to K2-3-5. It was more about the growth was due to better professional development, more team teaching, more balanced class sizes. It was hard for her to quantify it and say this is the exact reason. The other person we heard back from was from Astoria, their superintendent at the time. He said essentially similar to the first person from Lincoln County, that we definitely saw academic growth. It took probably 2 to 3 years, but that he directly attributed to the outcomes of a K2-3-5.
He did.
That we've talked about.
You said those directly related to it?
Again, I'm summarizing. I sent it to you.
I read it today, and that's what it said.
I've just yet to see anything that really ties it to academic improvement anywhere, anything I've looked at. I mean, I don't know which way it's being touted, if it's easier for, like you said, professional development, class sizes, staffing, that kind of stuff, but I've yet to see any kind of actual data anywhere that shows any kind of ties to directly connected academic performance for this. And that's my only, that's my biggest.
Yeah, I don't think It's really about our specific situation. I don't think you're gonna find, oh, this K-2-3-5 model is better for kids. I can send you lots of examples of how focused professional development improves student achievement. That's what we're gonna get in this model. I can send you lots of articles about how balanced class sizes and not blends improve academic achievement. So it's the various elements of this that there is data on. There isn't really data on, especially for communities like ours, right? It would be different, if you were looking to do this in Beaverton, right? Definitely wouldn't be something I would be recommending in Beaverton. It's specific to our makeup, the reasons we're going here, the proximity of our schools. So I guess to just kind of emphasize, I don't think there is specific academic, there isn't studies that are going to show us, you go to K-2-3-5, this is what's going to occur. However, there's lots of studies around the various elements that this is going to improve for us, that's good for kids and their achievement.
So there's a couple of the districts that have been doing this for 10 years. Okay, so they have to have some kind of data.
There isn't a whole lot. Like it actually, there's actually a decline in Lincoln counties when you look at it. I mean, the test scores actually went down since the split. So, I mean, that's just what I found. I mean,
Yeah, I haven't looked it up. There definitely isn't what Lincoln County reported. I suppose we could pull their school report cards.
You're not doing another survey, right?
So that,
You're not going to send out another survey. I mean, people have the information. Maybe at the beginning, that would have been good to, again, put the caveat on there that there's a correlation, but no evidence to say that it is, or all these factors together could combine to improve academics. But I get what you did, but that would have been more information on the front end. As it stands right now, it seems like it is still dead in the water with the over 50% teachers and also community not wanting it.
I have a lot in my head, in and around it, but a lot of the stuff, like, I'm fairly involved with a lot of parents and community and stuff, and I hear there's already a lot of talk of frustrations of school start times being different, school end times being different, after school program stuff, buses and all. I just feel like this is just going to compound those issues even more, and that's another issue that I have with it. I don't know. There's all the feedback I've got from the parents. I don't know how to explain that stuff to them, or where they can go find that information. Just a lot. It's a lot for the community. I can see. I can't tell if is this leading up to such low enrollment numbers that we're going to have to look at closing a school or something? Because in my mind, this is almost one of those where districts have a small outlying school, and this is a really good option for them to do a reconfigure because they have a small school that's being phased out, super old building, high maintenance costs or something like that. But I don't see this being in that situation. Yeah. You
Go
guys-
ahead, Kathleen.
As an educator, I'm just going to kind of back up what Gary said of like, there's no specific data on test scores and all that stuff, but I'm in a building, I'm the only English teacher in my building. If I had a co-teacher, someone to work with, someone to bounce ideas off of, I would be a better teacher. Like, I don't think you're going to see those specific statistics, but there's outlying benefits to this of having the support of fellow teachers. Like the things that he just said, I agree with 100% as someone that's in the classroom.
So why does every elementary school teacher oppose it?
well, that's not true. I mean,
Because it's out of their comfort zone. They have to move classrooms. They have to pack up their stuff. They've been there 20 years. It's a mild inconvenience. It's not a focus on what's best for the kids. This is going to improve student engagement.
I think one of the things that stands out to me, like if you look at the how it breaks out, I mean, the people that this district pays to make these decisions that we've said, you're the people we want making these kind of decisions, they're for it. It's the teachers that we've hired that are there to teach math, English, but the district isn't necessarily paying them to figure out what's best as a whole.
Sure, it was up to us or the district to convince them of that. It doesn't look like they convinced at all.
yeah. So if we look at again, let's just focus on the elementary side. 23% of our elementary teachers say I'm open to this or I'm on board.
Rapid 0 say I'm on board with this. right?
Zero
Classified,
classified.
and 13 certified.
Well, keep in mind, those are percentages, right? So I guess it's close because there was 104. Well, no, there's only 52 K-5 people. So 23% were kind of in the highest two categories and 77% in the lowest two categories. And again, and that's specifically K-5. If you go, what's interesting to this, right? They're all teachers. Go to the next slide. I was the exact opposite in high school.
Right, but I'm trying to figure out how this affects 6th through 12 in any way. I mean, obviously the student that's entering 6th grade, but what do those teachers?
Well, I'm a 6th grader coming in with a lot higher skills in math. It certainly is going to help my middle school.
So where is the data saying that how much higher skills going into 6th grade? So I just don't find them.
Yeah, we wouldn't find it either until we're 5 years down the road. It's also, it's hard to say. Let's say you had a district that did this 5 years ago and they showed significant growth in test scores. They're all different kids. It's not the same kid. So if they had, half of their 3rd graders passing the state test in math and 3 years later they had 75%. Well, this might be a smarter group of kids that had, it's not the same kid. Again, I fall back on, I can assure you, it's less stress on a teacher and much easier on a teacher if I don't have blends. Kids are going to get better, have a better academic experience. I can assure you that if I had a team of 4 teachers and I could split my high needs kids evenly amongst 4 classes, that's going to be better for kids. I can assure you that, for example, we had this class of 30 kindergartners at Elmira this year. If a family moved in with 2 twin kindergartners, we were going to have 32. But if all of our kindergartners classes were at the same building, it's much easier to stick the next 3 in those 3 classrooms.
I can definitely see, there may be not any data, but I keep getting the feeling of, and that's all I really have, right? I don't even think have enough experience to make this decision on my own versus leaning on the professionals. That's why I said that earlier, but I think about it in business or anything else. Would I ever split 2 divisions in my company into 2 different buildings doing the same exact thing? And would I think that's efficient? I think the efficiency would have to go up if you put all of your 4th grade teachers in one building with 1 administrator in charge of those 4th graders. Because now we've got 2 principals who are in charge of 2 different sets of math teachers. And yeah, we're trying to keep them all on the same page, but you can't convince me it's not more efficient to bring them all into one building under one management.
How many educators were on that list, that email that got sent out to all of us that were vehemently opposed to the split? 20 something, 21, 23, something like that. And I know that they said in that there were some that did not feel comfortable taking or putting their name on that thing.
There was also some that told me they were uncomfortable putting their name on that because they didn't want to piss off the peers. So both sides of that for sure. But there has been splits historically forever out here. Yep. And it was such a big issue with the certified union last time that they bargained paying these teachers more money. So now anytime we have a split class, that teacher gets an extra stipend because of the difficulty of teaching that class. It was one of their single largest asks in regard to a financial addition to their contract outside of just their salary, that we need to recognize these folks that have this extra burden. All good questions. I guess the other thing I'd follow up on what Brian said about middle school, high school, what I've heard, besides hoping that the belief that kids are going to come in with more skills to the middle school, it's just this culture piece of them knowing each other for 5 years, not having as much cliquey things that are going on. I think that's what middle school and high school teachers see, is that they think it would be a benefit, eliminating some of this. I'm Elmira, I don't want to be with those city kids, or vice versa.
Which is a real thing.
Yeah, we've talked about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a real thing. And it's one of the biggest, in my mind, one of the biggest proponents do it, is simply for that.
I know, I'm with you, like, that's one of the things that gets me looking at it every single time. The last thing I wanna do is make everybody mad, right? Like, go against what everybody wants. So, but if it's good for the district and it's good for the kids, I mean, the uncomfortableness part of it,
It just needs to be shown. We can't show that it is good for them, and we also can't show that it's gonna be that much of, it could be not much upheaval. I understand, and I think it could work. But I think we haven't proved it, or, you know, the district hasn't proved it, and we'd be absolute fools to go against teachers, especially those who are affected, I'd add more weight. Unless we can again show that the 6 through 12 are seeing, or like, well, they haven't seen it because we haven't got enough confidence in K to 5. We still have the model it is. So I would add more weight, even if you didn't want to. The majority still says no of teachers and classifieds, and the majority of public.
I'd like
We haven't proved it.
Yeah,
It's still unpopular.
Yeah.
You know, and we're not there yet.
I'd like to see test data for 6 through 12 for multiple years from one of those districts, sending the kids into the, into middle school or high school and seeing if is there a higher graduation rate? Is there a higher, what is it, 9th grade on track, 11th grade on track? Right?
Yeah, we're not there.
Yeah, and I hear what Mark's saying. I guess I would emphasize, because certainly majority of staff, especially if we're looking just at the K-5 level, not in favor of this. Majority of the community not in favor of this. Keep in mind the people in charge with instruction and that the board is questioning in board meetings about why their test scores aren't higher are all saying we need to go to this model. It's going to be frustrating for them to have those conversations over the coming years when they're saying to you, this is what we think could make the biggest impact. And you're saying don't do that.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay the teachers' opinions at all.
Yeah.
But it's one of the things I keep seeing, and the people we charge to make these decisions and say what the right thing to do is telling us to do it. I'm not educated enough to make this decision.
The people who are educated are the teachers and are the parents.
They're educated in teaching them math and English. They're not educated.
And they see how it goes. They see the dates there of how that works.
Definitely got her hand up.
Yeah, she's had a hand up for a while.
Kathleen?
Reed, you have to.
It's all right. Listen to you guys hash it out. Gary, hypothetically speaking, on the slide that you shared, if we go to this model, the 4th and 5th grade classrooms were fairly large. Do we have it in our budget to potentially hire another 4th and another 5th grade teacher to bring those class sizes down?
Possibly. It'd really be about total average class size at the elementary level. We try to keep it around 23 or 24. I don't think it's ever been 24 in my time. Meaning we take all our kids, all of our classroom teachers. I want that average to be around 23. If it starts getting high 23, 24, then we're looking at adding a teacher. So
It looks like 27 or 28 or something on the model.
yeah.
Yeah, it was like 29 or 30, I think, if I remember right.
I think there were 28 was the biggest.
Okay.
Maybe there was one room with 29. But keep in mind, they're going to be bigger than that if we don't change. Right? They're going to be bigger at a specific school and smaller at the other. And when 4 kids move into 4th grade, every class goes up by 1. If 4 kids move into the Veneta area, both classes go up by 2.
Yeah, that's a lot.
It
Okay,
is,
thanks.
It is, I think in that model, and again, it's a given year, but in that model, where I showed you what it looked like in 25, 26, I think all of our K-1-2 classes were 21 and below. And like Kathleen said, they were definitely bigger, 3-5. I think the highest was 28, but they were 26, 27, 28 in the 3 grades.
I think it's interesting that when we separated it just for the survey purposes, that the elementary, I mean, they were majority opposed to it, but the middle school and high school was a majority for it. And in the administrators' reports, they're all for it. The only thing I have been able to see, the reason why the elementary teachers are not for it is one of the reasons was because of change. I personally think change is good. So I can't see that as a con.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some substantive things that, and if I was opposed to this, there's some substantive things. It's not just feeling, but I do agree. I think that definitely plays a role. The other thing I would mention is, the community, you guys are representatives of the community, right? Should be, when you can, trying to support, the thoughts of the community. There's also times where you need to do just what you think is right. I look back to when we closed No Time in 2001.
Right.
A graph like that would have looked 100% do not close this school, 0% in support of it. And it was the best financial decision, long-term longevity decision for this district that could have been made. The fact that we closed No Time Central early on in the process before kind of mid 2000s and cuts saved this district a ton of pain in regards to budget cuts. And there was 0 people in support of that. But the school board at the time said, I think we need to do this.
Right, but it was saving future financial heartbreak for the school district, but what about? What about the education stuff? Because I know a lot of people that went central in no time, they got really good educations out there too. They were small class sizes, smaller community size, more community involvement stuff.
Okay, well, you have all the information now. If any, obviously free to ask more questions or discuss some more.
I asked a long time ago, I don't remember where we left off, but is there any way you can forecast class sizes using the model and using the enrollment number data like how it was dropping for 10 years from now, 12 years from now?
I mean, it's each year you go out, it's getting less and less accurate. Right, but yeah, we can do that. And what it would tell us is we're gonna start to have our elementary schools are gonna be down 100 kids in 3 more years. Total enrollment, and then it's gonna start moving to the middle school and high school, and those enrollments are gonna be lower. Going out 10 years, it really is a crapshoot because who knows what's gonna happen.
Right, but are we turning in the direction that Elmira's enrollment numbers are lower than Veneta, or Veneta's lower than Elmira, or whatever? One school, it's like, this doesn't make any sense to be open, we're right back to the No Tie Central thing. Like, is that the end game for this?
No. Both of those schools, even down 100 kids combined, we could get. If we lost 100 kids tomorrow in the elementary school, we couldn't fit them all in one of those buildings. Elmira essentially has, you don't count the portable, 12 classrooms. They can really only have 12 teachers. We have a little bit of ability to expand if we needed to into that portable, but we haven't needed to yet. And Veneta maybe has 2 open classrooms, off the top of your head, Ms. Wilson?
I mean, none are open, but there are actual classrooms that you could say, this is no longer used for X, Y, and Z. And make a classroom.
I really don't know what to think, because I respect all your guys' decisions and ideas, thoughts. Gary, Michelle, the principal, all the building officials, that's like, and when you guys are in think one way and all the teachers at grade level think a different way, it's a hard spot to be in.
Yeah.
It's like you guys are the ones that are supposed to be setting the curriculum, telling them what to do. So I lean on you guys more, but it's like, it just seems like everybody's in such opposition to it that you talk to. And it seems, when you add the transportation, the weird shuttles and the bus hours and the weird stuff that goes on there, and the possibility of splitting up families, kids that go to school together, not having that K through 5, the same kid in kindergarten getting to see the same principal providers in the school, the elder reading, the 5th graders reading to kindergartners and all that kind of stuff that happens. It starts seeming like less and less of a good idea to me, but I don't know. I would like some data, some actual raw data of test scores going up. I mean, are kids getting smarter? Are they? Like, how are we even measuring that? Because it's The whole thing seems crazy to me that it comes down from the Department of Education and the test score. It's like, are they even relevant? Are the test scores even relevant to what we're doing? Are the kids graduating with any kind of faculties about them whatsoever? More with this split than without. It just seems like it's a moving goalpost, and we get another administration in, and there's a whole different set of tests, and
Yeah, it's not measurable.
it's just not measurable. So like, what is the measurable deal? Is it more time with teachers with that certain grade level of kid? I mean, I think that's huge.
I mean, it's all theoretical, right? Because we keep getting told that state testing can't be counted on, and how we measure, success, and how we're measuring growth. Again, and I've never been in the administrator's position, but I can only imagine if I'm trying to measure that, if I'm one person in charge of one grade over the same people, then it would be easier to hold accountable and measure it. And that's all theoretical. I mean, I don't know. But that's what makes sense to me. Like, if I had a certain amount of people doing any task, why wouldn't I have them together with one manager over it?
I completely agree with that.
I mean, so
I'd encourage anyone that ever wants to, go sit in a high school physics class or English 3 class or pre-calculus class. And if you're wondering if our kids are learning anything, you'll leave that 50 minutes and think, okay, we got some smart kids.
well, I don't think any of us think they're not learning anything. We're just looking for, I think some of the teachers take offense when we bring that up, but I don't mean anybody's doing a bad job. I think all of us want to do a better job. I mean, I think that's the bottom line.
Essentially, our test scores, which maybe Ms. Marshall will touch on it today, we're about the state average. We look at the entire system, K-12. And in my mind, we can do better. But why shouldn't we be at the state average?
The thing that freaks me out is when you look back 10 years or 15 years and you see that the state test scores, how low they get every year after year after year after year after year. And it's like, yeah, we may be on par with that. And I totally get what you're saying. We should be able to strive for more than that. But like, what, I don't know. It's almost like there's a bigger.
No, I get you.
Yeah, that's really that's why we, K-8 now, we do interim assessments 3 times a year, right? Kindergartners, first graders, they come in. It isn't really, for us, it isn't so much, sure, we'd like them to meet this bar. This is what we say kindergartners should do or know. But if I come in as a kindergartner and I can't spell my name, I've never held a pencil or a crayon before, their skill level is so low, it's just about their improvement. How did you test in September? How'd you do it in December? You might have improved tremendously, but they're not even close to meeting the benchmark for a first grader. And that's what we really want to see, is focus on the individual kid, whether they're already a genius or significantly behind grade level, that they're showing growth.
Right. And are you able to see that?
Yep, every.
Can you show that to us?
At the elementary, well, Ms. Marshall will talk about it some today. But we have, again, at the elementary level, they're tested 3 times a year with interim assessments. They have data team meetings. Teachers get together. Do you want to describe what a data team meeting looks like?
Well, excuse me for 1 minute though, before you do that. So then if we're doing that, these other schools have to be doing that. If we can see how we're doing, improving, right? And it doesn't have to be actually academically, we're getting into that academic, it can be skill level. Same thing, different words, okay? If we can do it, these other school districts can show us the data also.
Well, the data is available. I mean, it's online. You can look this stuff up. You can export it into, spreadsheets and look at it and compare
Really
it.
OSAS data, summative OSAS data that everybody takes in the spring. Everybody's interim assessments have different cut marks. We choose our own, where we want kids to get to. And it's not something that schools exchange in any way that I know of.
Yeah, unless you're friends with people and you have those conversations, or we're part of the Oregon RTI, cohort 12. And so there's a bunch of different districts that we come together and we do share some of that data with each other, because if they're saying, hey, you guys need to go throw everything out and try this, I do the same thing. I want to see what that's done for you guys for 3 to 5 years. But yeah, just sharing our benchmark and interim assessment data, that's not like easy to get, but it is doable. This is free. And then you have to be careful, do we use the same assessment, right? We use STAR. They might use Easy CBM or Dibbles or iReady. Hard to compare like that. It's not impossible, but tricky.
Right, we're supposed to represent the community. I don't have a degree in education, neither does our governor, as far as I know, who's actually in charge of this whole thing that brings stuff down. All the people here have degrees in education, so I feel like we should be listening closer to the teachers and the principals and the education directors and superintendents but I would like some data. I'm just a data-driven guy, and when I don't know, all I could really find was the Lincoln County or the Lincoln School District stuff, and I mean, it's down a lot, but every district's down a lot. It was like, the one that I found was reading proficiency was 68% in 2014, and it's at 43% in 2022. So like before the split and after the split. Before the split was 68%, and after the split was 51%.
In what grade level?
Was reading ELA, it said K8.
But the state also changed, the summative assessment.
Right,
So that's what, Oaks was, kids got 3 tries. So I could say, oh, Lisa, you're so close, just give me your best effort tomorrow, you're only 3 points away, let's do this. And the kid would get up to 3 tries to do the test.
Yeah,
The other piece is that the bar was much lower.
That's the biggest thing. When they switched from Oaks, what's that scale called? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it's recall.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay, depth of knowledge.
Yeah, depth of knowledge. So Oaks was really about recalling information. And whereas now OSAS has questions about synthesizing different pieces of information. It goes to, so I don't know the specific years.
Right.
But again, the folks from Lincoln County, I'll look at it, but they talked about, they felt like this did significantly improve student achievement.
But is this the seat of the pants thing from the parents? Is this the teachers saying that? Is that?
Yeah, it's just the 2 administrators that responded. The other thing that was a big change, not so much at the elementary, but at the high school, right? Up until COVID, you had to pass the state test as a high school 11th grader through early school. And that has gone away. So what that helped us in our high school, when I was principal, I got their best effort. I got everybody's best effort. And we'd have maybe 10 kids that didn't pass. And then they had another, what we call a work sample. They would get enrolled into a class their senior year, build up their skills, take a work sample that they had to pass, score it on the state rubric, and then they were considered having met. Now, when we go to have our 11th graders take it, we definitely do not get everybody's 100% best effort. And that across the state was a significant change. Again, it's always looked that way at the elementary and middle school, in that some kids don't care. They're just clicking through. At the high school, when that was a carrot at the end, you had to pass this. We knew we got your best effort because if they didn't pass, they were enrolled in the class that she year to get them to pass.
I heard from someone that said they were gonna bring that back, that you'd have to pass state testing.
I think it will eventually come back. When that is it in a couple of years or further down the road?
It's definitely a discussion, I think.
Yeah, it's a tough thing. And administrators in general are in support of that. If nothing else, it gets us accurate data. When we test all the 11th graders and I'm only getting 60% of them to even do their best, what's that even telling me?
Is there a certain thing that people that work in this building are looking for out of this? I mean, is it like 3rd grade reading, 5th grade math? Is there like a certain specific thing? Can we hear those things at some point? If there are, you know, I mean, is it sped issues? Is it?
Sure, I'll list off the things. Balanced class sizes, no blends, more focused professional development, specialists like counselors and sped teachers that have a much narrower band kids to focus on. If I'm a counselor at the K2 building, I can focus more in, get PD and my skills focused in on K1, 2 kids, not also have 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders who are dealing with different issues. Same thing with the PE teacher, same thing with the principal. Our ELD kids, they're so few and far between that we often have an ELD kid. Maybe we have 2 in 2nd grade, but they're at different schools. They never get to converse and or practice English together. Again, when we have, I'll use the example of kindergarten at Elmira last year, when that class size is so big, if there's 5 kids in there with super high behavioral needs, they're all with that teacher. Whereas if we have all three of our kindergarten classes or four in one building, they can be spread out balanced. The team teaching aspect, consistency, like WC alluded to, yeah, we try to align, but cultures are a little bit different. What's important at Veneta might look a little bit different than what's important at Elmira. Assemblies are different. Having our kids experience, what we hope is the highest quality, best, but also similar each year, I think is only going to lead to further success at the middle school and high school, not only inside the classroom, but outside.
I can't help but keep thinking about, you talked about like kindergarten coming in, can't write his name. And
You have kindergartners that don't know their name.
sure, no, I totally get it. So that's on the parents, right? I mean, that's 100% in the house, that's on the parents. Is this, if you tout this as, oh, so much more attention is gonna be spent on your kindergartner, are the parents at home the ones that really don't care because they already don't care? Are they gonna care less? Like in the future, oh, they're just gonna learn it in the school because they're getting such a better, more one-on-one time. I'm gonna read less to my kid. I'm gonna show my kid how to read, write his name less. It's like,
I don't
And
think that.
those are gonna vote against it, whether it's better economics or not, because they don't care. They just care that it's a change, that they gotta go another mile and a half. Like, I think we're getting
but
something,
the transportation part is messy.
get out of school that much different.
They do, it's a pain in the butt. I hear it from all the parents all the time. I'm around the parents all the time. It's a huge pain in the butt. I have to deal with it in the morning every day. I gotta sit in one parking lot for 20 minutes. It's ridiculous. Gotta be late to work to drop my kid off. Like, there's not a lot of traffic. I've always said from the get-go, if I could, if I'm gone for one day, the gal is coming down on start times being the same, ending the same. I don't understand why they can't be.
We need 3 times or double the amount of buses.
I understand that.
And there's no district that has, high school is pushing the start times later, right? There's no district that has.
But it's also schools with different days off. I've got kids staying home, one kid staying home one day, one kid in school another. It's ridiculous. Like that stuff all starts adding up to parents at home. And that's the chirping that I hear from the parents. And then the transportation deal for the split starts looking messy. And well, they've got a second grader and they've got a fifth grader. They're gonna get split out there. We're gonna be in school together, so excited. They've been walking their sibling in every day to school. That's not gonna happen anymore. It's almost like having 2 middle schools now. So.
Let's give Kathleen a chance too. Kathleen's had her hand up for a while.
I had it up for so long. Gary already stole my thunder. But Brian, the data you're looking for is qualitative. It's not quantitative. As a teacher, like he said, if I have collaboration, if I have time to plan, if I have no blends, if I have these things, I will be a better teacher and the classroom will be a better place. You can't put numbers on it. Like we've already talked about, state testing doesn't matter. The kids don't care. But giving the teachers the tools that they need to make their classroom a more successful place is qualitative, and you can't put a number on it.
I believe you because you're in the job, but I also look to the responses from the other K-5 and they're still against. They do the same things.
I wish there was a way to put the question back on the teachers that said no to it as to why. Is it a convenience issue? Is it a comfort issue? Is it you're leaving your co-teacher bestie? Like, is it actually best for the kids? Why did you say no?
Show that they believe in it and for what reasons they believe in it.
Yeah, and that's what I've wanted to see. And
Then why is admin 9-0?
Why what?
The admin is what they wrote in.
Why is admin 9-0? Why is admin all for?
Yeah.
Because you're getting a split in the teachers, but not in the administration.
And I would say, the cons our con list was really made up of the things that the elementary teachers, that were their concerns. Things like 5th graders reading the kindergarten. Yeah, that's a loss. I can also tell you that don't happen near as much as you might think it does.
Can't we still pull that off? If that is because we have a lot of teachers say that, like, if that is really a great benefit, can't we still pull off doing that a couple times a year?
I mean, second graders can read to kindergartners. Same thing.
Well, I get it, the older kids, and it's fun for the younger kids and for the older kids, but it's not like Lincoln City where we were talking Newport and Depot Bay. We're talking Elmira and Benita. I mean, it's not that far apart. Like, I totally get all that if we're talking some of the challenges the other school districts had with being so far apart, but we are one school district and we're not that far apart from each other. I mean, the transportation, I dealt with the same thing you dealt with, the time differences between the two. My kids were split heavily and that sucked. I mean, I'd pick one up and we'd sit in the car and converse until the other one got out of school. But, and it's nice, I guess, if you have your kids close enough together that you don't deal with that. I can see that being a benefit.
Well, here's the other thing is that this is a change. If we move forward with this, it's a change. That's all there is to it. There's no getting around it. People are going to be inconvenienced. But our realm here is it more important for us that our school, our district is better for the teachers, better for the students. And I believe that. I believe that if you do good for the teachers, they're happy. That's going to run off on kids. The other thing I wanted to say was maybe it's not academics that we want to see. Maybe it's something else like attendance. There has to be something somewhere that says, hey, this is how it was happening before the split, and this is how it's happening now.
Enough splits or that.
Well, no, they're not split, but the.
Not a something about.
And you guys vote 9-0, it makes it seem like it's just a slam dunk and it should be done. Then why hasn't every other district done it? And why isn't there huge piles of data showing that proficiency is higher, early literacy is higher, better grade scores, math test scores in 4th grade? Like the data just isn't there. And everything is going down year after year after year. So are we upsetting the apple cart for no reason? Because it is a big deal.
Well, I wouldn't say everything is going down every year.
Well, across the board, state that absolutely is every single year that the test scores are going down. Like in the state board, right? You agree?
We came up over halfway, we dropped back down again in Oregon. We did.
Yeah. No, I don't.
I'm not saying I'm not trying to get personal anyway. That's not what I mean.
So why not think about something to try to change that? Like, why be okay with the data going down continuously instead of trying to think of a change?
You can't say it'd be for nothing because it would change culture. That's stuff we've talked about numerous times with the two different schools.
And I do think when you're talking, right, let's say our two schools were 900, there's elementary schools that have 1,200 kids and then in the state of Oregon. We wouldn't be looking at this model. They have ways to separate kids. They have ways to balance class loads. There isn't blends. I don't think this model, where you're finding people go to this model, is communities like us, Winston-Dillard, North Bend, Lincoln County. This wouldn't be something because a lot of the benefits that we're trying to get, they can already have. When I'm in a 4J system with however many elementary kids they have, 9,000, it's easier for me to balance them.
So why is it so difficult for anyone to find data to drive someone's decision? Why is it so hard to find anything out there showing the positives from it? Like you guys talk about like the seed of the band, like obviously it's going to be better, more one-on-one time with the kids, smaller class sizes, less splits. Like I get all that, but why is there nothing measurable anywhere out there about this?
Early in the year, I haven't done it in a while, there was a list of 8 or 10 articles on this topic that I forwarded you. I'll resend you. We're in bigger systems that tried this. Many of them were inconclusive or slight benefits, or they didn't like it. But that's the only thing I can say is there is case studies on this, but they're more in bigger systems. Again, I think why the administrators think this will work here, it's specific to what I've seen in this district in the last 29 years. And a lot of our administrators that have been to this district a long time. It's specific to our environment, our community. We think it would benefit.
What's the provenance of the whole thing? Who started it? Who came up with it? Who was the first school to split? Well, I know you guys all read. I know you guys study. I know you all want to be better at your jobs. Where did this come from? Where did the first, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's the roots, the origin of the K2-3-5 split?
In Fern Ridge?
No. No, in general, like in the state of Oregon, in the United States, and I mean, is there like an educator somewhere that thought it was a good idea? Was there a study done? I'm just curious. I can't find much about it. I can't find the roots of it, like where it came from. I'm just curious and what their reasoning was to do that the first go around.
Well, and Lincoln City didn't choose to do it, or Lincoln County, they had to because of a school closure.
Yeah, the first time with one of their communities, and then that went well, and they did it with the other half of the
Yeah.
district.
They were forced to do it the first time.
So how many districts do we have the same size as ours? Because that's what we're talking about, is enrollment.
How many districts in the state are kind of similar to this?
I wouldn't go state, I would just go Lake County right now, keep it easy.
Yeah, our closest districts in alignment with us would be Crestwell, Pleasant Hill, yeah, Junction City, side of Saw Cottage Grove are a little bit bigger, but in the ballpark.
Sure.
Harrisburg. Yeah, Harrisburg, Louisville.
Are any of them talking about close?
Right.
They only have one elementary in a lot of those.
Oh, yeah.
That's
So-
part of our, towards the K.
I know, so don't they have just massive class sizes then? Or are they splitting each grade? If they only have one elementary school, do they not have 45 kindergartners and?
Well, there's probably have more classrooms in their elementary school for their district our size and have one elementary school. They just have a bigger school. More rooms.
It just seems like it's the same amount of teachers. One school or,
It's not.
if there's 4 classes of 10 kids.
There might be, but you only got one administrator in charge of fourth grade. You don't have 2 administrators focused on all the grades. You're narrowing the focus.
Why can't the administrators change their focus?
on-
Why can't an administrator focus on K through 2 or 3 through 5 and keep them in the schools they're going to?
Because then they still got 3, 4, and 5 to do. They can't just forget about half of the school.
I'm not saying to forget about them, couldn't another administrator be more interested in those grades?
You know, principals, the 2
I don't
principals.
think that's, again, it's. That's
You have
not
the
what
money for it.
we're the problem we're looking to solve. I think it would be a byproduct. The basis of the issue we're trying to solve is balanced class loads, making teachers' jobs easier, increasing the academic performance of our kids. This is what we think achieves that. If the board doesn't think that, we will continue on and do like we always have, find other ways to try to improve achievement. It isn't gonna, the world isn't gonna blow up if we don't go to this model. But unequivocally, I think if we did this in 10 years, people will look back at the school board and say, that was tough, but that was a wise decision. I really like the way this is going. Could I be 100% wrong? I could be.
It'd be the case, I just think it's not proven. I'm still following with Brian, it's not proven yet.
We're running past work session time and into other times, so we gotta wrap it up. We could, if
If anybody has questions over the next month or wants anything, I took a couple notes that I'll look into in the coming days, but shoot them to me. And this will be an item on the September agenda for if you want to discuss or not, but make a motion. If we're not changing, we don't need to make a motion. If somebody wants to make a motion to have this changed, we'll have a vote. And
I mean, if you guys want to discuss it more, we can have another work session too, before then.
But will we be able to have more information?
I don't think we're gonna get any more information. I think we're gonna have to make this decision based on the information we have.
Some studies back.
yeah, I will, what I noted was, I'll look into, where was the first person that ever tried this?
Well, I just mean, how did the focus land in your guys' head to do this? Like is this talked about in administration?
We've talked about it in Fern Ridge twice before. So we had a large committee, maybe 10 years ago, I was a member of, we looked into it. Teachers went and visited 3-5 schools. But the opposition that you're seeing now was even more severe. It's actually moved significantly in the last few years, and the necessity. So we've looked at it twice. Neither time did it come to a recommendation to the board. I was a part of both of them. We had the conversations, the discussions. I just didn't feel like A, the need was as imperative, and B, the pushback. You think this is pushback? It was even more severe. This time when we got around it, A, I think the need is becoming greater, and B, certainly isn't overwhelming support, but I think there's enough support that we can make this successful.
And Brian, I do want to say that, and to me, it sounds like that you're hearing a lot of negative in the community. I'm not hearing a lot of negative in the community.
Different votes. I'm getting 50-50, yeah, I mean, but the loud is loud, and it's because it's gonna be, and I think it's mainly from that group, because that's who it's gonna affect, right? It's easy, I don't have any kids left in the school district, so it's easy for me to say, it's not that big a deal, right? And so I get it, we need to be sympathetic to the people that are in the middle of the change. Kathleen's gonna. Kathleen, you need to wrap us up, and then I'm gonna close this.
Okay, sorry. I'm just gonna go on like Brian, you're saying so many people are upset, so many people are unhappy. We had very few survey responses. We have one public comment. If you're that upset, please come talk to us. Let us know why you're upset. Let us know why you don't want this. We can only go on the data that we have. And so far, we don't have much of that. So it's easy for us to speculate and say, like, hey, the public doesn't want this. The public isn't here saying that. So speculation.
Maybe it's the same reason that teachers didn't want to put their name on stuff, because they didn't want to be called out. Maybe people find it easier to talk to a school board member in a community setting somewhere than it is to come to a school board and speak.
I mean, you were the basic.
I mean, we get called out all the time. So please come and call us out. I encourage you.
All right, we're gonna wrap it up. We're running late. We can always schedule another thing. So this time I'm gonna adjourn the meeting. It is 6:40. Take a 5-minute break and then we'll go into our regular session. And I'll call this meeting to order. We have a shared vision in the Fern Ridge School District of excellence for every student so that each will reach their greatest potential. Thank you to the members of the public who have joined us. As a reminder, school board meetings and work sessions are a meeting of the board held in public, providing an opportunity to observe the board's discussion and actions. In an effort to conduct official board business, we ask that the audience be respectful and refrain from questions, comments, and unnecessary noise while the board is conducting their meeting. There is an opportunity for citizen comment tonight, and the board looks forward to hearing from those who have signed up. I will share some reminders when we get to that portion of the meeting. Also, please note that all board meetings are live streamed and posted on the school board area of the website. Let's start with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brings us to the public comment section. We do have someone signed up today. The Fern Ridge School Board encourages public input. A person wanting to provide public comment will need to complete and submit an intent to speak from the board secretary by 1 p.m. on the day of the meeting. Public comment is limited to this space on the agenda, not to exceed a total of 30 minutes for all comments. A person giving public comment is limited to an established time limit of 4 minutes. While speakers may during public meetings offer objective criticism of the school operations and programs, the board will not hear personnel complaints and concerns, district personnel, nor against any person connected with the school system. Please state your name and if you are a resident of the district. If speaking for an organization, state the name of the organization. The board reserves the right to refer the matter to administration. Tonight we have Jessica Caldwell. No, that's what you got on my phone.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It didn't sound like we have Hayden.
Yeah.
I knew that. I just read my thing. Hayden Hinman.
Sorry about that.
Pronounce that correctly. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Perfect. Come on up.
My name is Hayden Henneman. I'm not with any organization or representing the organization. I am a member of our district. My name is Hayden Henneman. I've been a lifelong member of this community. I attended school in this district from kindergarten through 12th grade and graduated from Elmira High School in 2010. Beginning this school year, I will have 2 children attending Elmira Elementary School. Little history. So in 2002, Fern Ridge School District closed Central and No-Tie elementary schools due to budget cuts, sending Central school students to Bonita and No-Tie students to Elmira. From my recollection, class sizes at Central went from around 15 students to Bonita around 30. And the district created its first blended 4th, 5th grade classroom. 24 years later, we find ourselves facing a nearly identical situation. Large class sizes and blended classrooms. And yet again, the district is finding a Band-Aid for our long-term problem. That's why we're here today. I was a 4th grader entering 5th grade when the district implemented those changes, and it was a major culture shock. My classmates and I were suddenly placed into a school with unfamiliar teachers, staff, and students. This proposal repeats that disruption and in some ways makes it worse, potentially separating siblings between different elementary schools. Fern Ridge states that this reconstruction is being considered due to blended classrooms, large class sizes, and low enrollment. But how will this solve low enrollment? Could it make enrollment worse if parents are uncomfortable sending their young children to different schools? And it's severely inconvenience parents who now have to make the commute and multiple drop-offs. Will this cause parents to explore neighboring districts that don't do mixed classes? I've read everything on the website and the configuration documents, including when our district met with North Bend. Several districts have implemented similar configurations. Lincoln County School District made the change in 2014, though they only reconfigured 4 of their 6 elementary schools, leaving the 2 rural schools, Crestview and Toledo, K through 5, K through 6. North Bend plans to make their transition 26-27 school year. Fern Ridge references North Bend as being comparable, even though North Bend has not implemented their restructuring. Fern Ridge states that they have discussed transportation with First Student and feel confident about managing shuttle buses. Yet recent budget cuts prevented First Student from providing transportation for the kids program. Something that highly recommended from our school district for incoming kindergartners, and they couldn't get them, pick them up 2 days a week to take them from a daycare to the schools. How can you afford more buses to run twice daily, 5 days a week? Many of the issues North Bend is preparing to face and mitigate are the same issues Fern Ridge School District anticipates, only because North Bend told them that they were having these issues and they were potential problems as they did their own community outreach. How can a district sit here and base their decisions off a district that hasn't even implemented the change? If Fern Ridge decides to move to this model, we will continue our conversations with North Bend through the 26-27 school year to hopefully know more about their experiences. That's directly from your website. What exactly are they going to learn? They're doing this in October of 26 and implementing. What are you going to learn? How not to do it? When they say it doesn't work, how do they even know it works? They haven't done it. And Brian, to shed a little my opinion on your concern of show me the data. No school district will admit that it isn't working because they're going to double down that it's working. They're not going to admit that they have egg on their face and it didn't work. And how do they undo that they've already done? They've implemented. How are they going to double down and say it's not working and go back to the way it was? No, they're going to say it's working and they're going to continue to push through. Has any district in Oregon implemented this kind of restructuring since Lincoln County in 2014? If it works so well, why aren't more districts adopting it? Especially like those within our same community. The community survey, I'm the only one here, I'm aware of that wants to publicly speak. The community survey was a community survey. Does it say anything about the restructuring or what it's for? Did it? Because I read public survey. For what? What color to paint the school? Nobody knows. Regarding the community survey, its structure is highly questionable. The opinions provided were I'm opposed to this. I have reservations, but understand the need. I understand the need and I'm open to this. I'm on board with this. That's 3 ways to say yes, just worded differently. And only 1 way to say no. Why wasn't it a simple yes or no?
Hey, I'm really sorry, but your 4 minutes are up. I would be happy to give you my phone number if you want to call me because I want to know what you have to say. I want to know what more it is. It's just the rules.
I copied that too.
You can copy, give it to us. If you want to stick around and talk after the meeting, I'm definitely here. It's just the rule.
Here's Dan. Thanks, Tim. Thank you.
Thank you. Can we please get copies of that?
Yeah, I have a cleaner one, but yes.
Okay, thank you.
If you email it to Bree, and she can send it to you.
Monthly items, approval of the minutes from last month. Do I got a motion?
There a motion to approve the July 20th, 26 regular meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve the July 20th, 2026 regular meeting minutes.
Make it a second.
That's that.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Approval of minutes. Again, is there a motion to approve the July 27th, 2026 board retreat minutes?
I move to accept the board retreat minutes from July 27th.
2026.
2026.
I have the wrong date on it.
Okay.
I will fix that date and then we can approve it
Mine was all on the agenda, they're on the minutes.
on the minutes of the actual.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Discussion? All those in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion passes 5-0. Koana, the floor is yours.
Yep, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Perfect. Okay, so this is our July 31st general fund revenue and expense report. Not a lot going on, as you can see. We've received 12% of our revenue, 4% of our expenses. I'm just showing this to you, but there's really not a lot to report. You can see our budgeted numbers. So I'll just be updating this throughout the year. That is all I have on that one.
Financial report?
Need a report action on
All
that.
right, thank you.
I make a motion to approve the general fund expenditure report for July 31st, 2026.
I second that.
Discussion?
At their solution.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Did you say aye?
But
I said. Motion passes 5-0. All right.
Okay, a little more detail on this one. So this is our unaudited June 30th, 2026 financial report. So our unaudited 25-26 numbers. We ended up bringing in 6% or roughly 1.1 million more revenue than we budgeted. A few reasons for that were our beginning fund balance was higher than we budgeted. As you can see at the top, it was 2.1 million more. Our SPED weighting saw a fairly large increase, which increased our state school fund payments. So that's higher than we projected. We also received about 200,000 more from the ESD than we projected in our budget. And as far as on the expenditure side goes, we ended up spending, if you can scroll down a little bit, we ended up spending about 8% less than we budgeted for operating expenses, and we spent 0 of our contingency. The largest category in the operating expenditures that we underspent in was benefits. One of the reasons for that is due to budgeting higher PERS rates than we ended up with, because the state ended up using one-time funds to decrease all school district rates in Oregon by 1.68%, but that didn't occur until after the budget was built and adopted. So we saved money there. And then also insurance waivers plays a huge factor in underspending the benefits. It's roughly anywhere from 20 to 23,000 an employee if they waive insurance that we are saving.
So the PERS amount was negotiated lower than what was budgeted for? Is that what?
They tell, every district has a different rate, they tell us our rate. But then because everybody's had grown so much, state used some one-time funds to help reduce that pressure on districts.
Yeah.
What happens to those funds in our district? Do those have to stay, are those there for like future, like PERS increases or something, or salary stuff, or can it go elsewhere?
So it goes to it goes to our end fund balance, what now is that bottom number, 6.95 million.
Yeah.
And yeah, it can be in next year's budget, those dollars are allocated out to different areas. So any dollar we don't spend just rolls over to the next year.
Into any account, does not be just PERS.
Well, it would be, no, it doesn't have to just be PERS. That's just a liability, but once the year ends, all that money goes back into one pool and we reallocate it with a new budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so just for comparison purposes in 24-25, we brought in 7% more in revenue and we spent 7% less. So very similar numbers for 24-25 and 25-26. And Gary already mentioned our estimated end fund balance is at 6.9. Again, these are unaudited numbers, so they could change by a couple $100,000 once the auditors issue their final journal entries for reconciling property taxes and whatnot.
And typically we get that by December 31st if they're on time. So you'll get.
Yes, it takes a while.
You'll get the audited version of our 25-26 budget probably at the January board meeting. Final numbers. The good news about this is that we're in the positive again. We're continuing to build up a little bit of a reserve. It'll help in the years to come. I already talked to administrators today about, hey, with our decreasing title allotment, this might be something that the district in the spring really looks to allocating more general fund dollars. It gives us the ability, for example, last week I had repost an elementary teacher job. So if we get, a few more kids and we've got some bigger class sizes, we're now taking applicants. Once registration is done next week, I can make the decision that, let's hire another elementary teacher to keep class sizes down. So we posted both a potential, that's what we listed, a potential elementary job and a potential full-time aide job that would be used for, like last year we hired a need kind of last minute and we had this larger kindergarten class. So both those jobs are posted and we're able to do that because of our end fund balance. We'll see how registration goes and we might have a couple of late hires.
And that's all I have on that unless anyone has questions.
Thanks, Mom.
Can I get a motion to accept the June 30th, 2026 unaudited financial report?
Motion approved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hi.
5-0.
Next topic that Kwana's here to talk about is the construction excise tax. I'll turn it over to you, Kwana. You can probably explain it cleaner than.
Yeah, so those of you that are not familiar with it, the school district adopted the ability to collect construction excise tax in 2008. So we've been doing it since then. It can only be used for capital improvements currently, and they set a maximum rate every year too, by the way, that you can collect at. Currently, we are at $1.23 per square foot, which is the rate we have been at since 2016-17. So quite a while ago. The maximum residential rate as of this year is $1.70 per square foot. So, we have room to increase our rate by 47 cents per square foot. We don't have to increase it that entire amount. If we chose to do, 10 cents, we could do that. If that $1.70 is just the absolute maximum we can charge. And an increase of 47 cents would be about a 38% increase in our rate, just to give you that number. As you can see, we have several districts below our rate and we have a few above our rate. I ran some numbers just to kind of give you a general idea on a 2,000 square foot home. Currently right now at the $1.23 versus $1.70, it would cost about $940 more in construction excise tax. And again, that's on new construction only.
So just to give a little description, right? If I'm a builder and building a new house in Veneta, it's 1,000 square foot house. They're paying the city of Veneta, writing them a $1,230 check. Is it every month or every quarter that the city sends us that money?
Usually we get it every quarter. Honestly, sometimes we get them quicker than that. It's kind of random. It's no specific set time.
So this law came into effect, like Quanah mentioned, our board passed it in 2008, but it came into effect when communities were kind of getting overwhelmed with new residential housing, 100 new kids in the schools, but not the dollars in infrastructure to add classrooms and that kind of thing. So that's was the genesis of this. We have forever, I just let it build up. I want to say we were approaching $400,000. And then we bought, the first real expenditure out of that was buying that property next to Bonita that we made the parking lot out of. You know our current balance in that account, Quantum?
I don't, but I can tell you that last year we collected about 119,000 in new construction excise revenue.
Okay. Well,
But I can tell you it's probably right around there because we spent the rest of it on that property. But I can pull that up real quick actually and probably tell you.
Which property? The house? The house. So every few years, like Quanah said, this isn't something that comes to the board every year, but maybe every 2 or 3. We share with the board, here's the cap, here's where we're at. You can do nothing, keep it here. I suppose you could even decrease it if you wanted.
What's our number at?
$1.20.
Oh, I'm sorry.
61 cents per commercial.
The highest district is Junction City at $1.56. Probably a lot of districts are having this conversation now because they just kicked out the new cap of $1.70. I have no idea. I haven't talked to other superintendents if they're looking at increasing, staying the same. So no action needs to be taken, but if you wanted to discuss and consider increasing it some percentage.
We have a current balance of 174,000, just so you know.
Well,
Kathleen's got a question.
No question. I just wanted to make a motion when everyone's ready.
All right. Hey,
Let's hear it.
make it.
I would like to make a motion to keep it where it's at. The residential 1.23 per square foot Fern Ridge rate.
I second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
I,
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, and again, going forward, this probably isn't an every year thing, but every couple of years we'll bring it up.
Yeah. All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, I shortened this up a bit. So if there's more information that you guys want, tell me. And what I think I could also do is like next year, however we want to do this and share the data, like we could focus on different types. I just want to give you what you want in a way that's not super overwhelming because sometimes I nerd out on it and it's a lot. So I'll do better. So this is, I'm just going to kind of go through our tentative OSAS scores. We're pretty sure, but they haven't been released formally by the state yet, but here's where we landed last year. And just know data in general is such a focus, K-12. We have classroom conversations, we have PLCs, we have our Wednesdays, we're doing walkthroughs. And then we do formal collection of attendance, behavior, grades. Those are kind of your key performance indicators, KPI. There's quite a bit that's required by the state of Oregon. Some of it's more valuable to teachers than others. So OSAS is your summative assessment. That's end of the year, one and done. Good luck. Please don't try to click through it in 7 minutes or you'll give your teacher a heart attack. We have local performance assessments, which happen throughout the year. Those are called your work samples, and different grades have different expectations. So it might be a 3rd grade writing sample or a speaking sample or science inquiry. So those are done at the local level. We get to kind of pick and choose what those look like as long as they're the same across grade levels. And that's 3rd through 8th. And then high school, they have to do it at least once in each category. We also have what's called interim benchmark assessments. Not something we've been doing for a long time, but it's now required by the state and that you have to have one of the 4 that they've approved. We use STAR and we do that fall, winter, spring, K-8. And then the last thing that's not new, you guys are hearing me talk about performance growth targets, but they're being updated. We're adding to them. And those are not the academic ones necessarily, but they're just targets as you go and you build your goals around those. That's what's next. So here's all of them. This is like this is what I focus my work on daily, is how to help our district do better in these areas, because we know that summative assessment is tricky and we want to have other targets to look at. So K-2 attendance, if your kids are coming to school, they're going to do better in school. K-12 attendance. The reason they added K-2 this year is because what they're realizing is that if you focus on them younger, they'll get in better habits, our families will get in better habits, and then that will eventually improve your K-12 attendance. Third grade ELA, that is your summative assessment. Again, we track that progress using our interim assessment. So they're pretty well aligned. We can see how a kid scores on STAR in the fall and be like, okay, this is where we need to get them by the end of the year or winter or spring. 8th grade math, you're going to see that this is definitely an area that we're going to be pushing and focusing on quite a bit. 9th grade on track, how many kids are on track to graduate by the end of their 9th grade year. 4-year graduation, 5-year completion, and another new one for us this year is 5th grade science. And then the other piece that's going to be new to kind of understand, and I don't know how much I'll share with you guys, but just know if you want more, I'll share a ton more. We're now in what's called a similar district cluster. And actually, Kathleen, I don't know if you know this, but Harrisburg and Fern Ridge are in the same cluster. So that'll be fun for us to see those comparisons. And essentially, it's a whole bunch of different school districts that you get in this cluster based on how close you are to a college, how rural your community is, your ELD population, all of these different things. And so we're in a cluster with schools like Amity, Dufur, Scioto, Lowell, Pleasant Hill, Harrisburg. Pleasant Hill and Harrisburg are the closest ones to us. Everywhere else is pretty rural, Eastern Oregon, farther away. This is just OSAS summative preliminary data. We're pretty sure it's going to come close to this. And what you'll see is top is reading, bottom is math, 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade. I broke it down by the elementaries and then our district average and then the state average. So interestingly enough, it's funny how one school will go higher, 3rd grade reading at Elmira, and then Bonita is 5% lower. And some of that you just have to kind of pencil out in different ways because of the number of students, right? If you have less kids, their percentage for making you look like you're meeting or failing is higher or lower. We were above the state in 4th grade reading, and then in math for 3rd grade, and below right at the state. 5th grade math did not go well this year. And if you go to the next one, it's the middle school. So this is 6th through 8th grade. 6th grade, and there's no comparisons because we have just one. 7th grade math did really well, or reading, and 8th grade reading were both above the state. Math, 7th grade, and then our 8th grade. This is one of the areas, those performance growth targets. What each district has to do is within those cluster groups, you get all of this data, and then you have to make goals based on your historical data. So we have to have a cluster goal that I'm trying to get to and a state goal. All of our goals are higher than the state because we're already in all of those performance growth targets. We have to be higher than the state's goals by the end of 2030.
Does it increase like a point or 2 a year or something?
Yep, different percentages. And I did have that slide in here, but I hid it because it's a lot. It's pretty overwhelming, but and I'll share it with you guys if you want. But essentially I went down and each of those targets I have, this is this year's goal, next year's goal, next year's goal. And it shows you there. And that has to be submitted and approved by the state. So it's not like I just make it up.
In simple terms, what does 26% mean in 6th grade math?
Means 4 out of 10 kids are meeting the standard of that's been applied to Oregon State assessment scores for 6th graders in Oregon. And that the average of all 6th graders in Oregon, if you took every school, it was 3 out of 10.
And we have 2.6 out of 10, correct?
Do other districts have the same chart?
Yeah. And every district in the state of Oregon is now upgrading these performance growth targets right now. So that'll be something that's I think I just submitted them maybe 2 weeks ago. And then you meet with an ODE rep and they make sure that you followed the guidelines and if I would have put all of our goals super low, they would have been like, no, you can't do that, but it would make us look great. We met all of our goals.
So the 21% in eighth grade. Is that accurate? Because if I'm reading it, then is that accurate to say 2 out of 10 students going to the high school are ready for high school math?
Right. Our eighth grade math score concerns me. I'll say that.
Okay.
I think we need to, and what I did last year at the middle school and I did it at the elementaries, but I think we can really focus in at the middle school is there are priority standards. So within the math standards of each grade level, there's probably 100 standards that you need to cover. Your kids should show mastery, but there are priority standards that you should be spending over 60% of your time on. So yes, there's this standard over here that you need to expose kids to and make sure they are familiar, but there's these ones that if you really, that helps that building block into algebra and calculus, geometry, all of those.
So is the 5th grade science number driving that in science?
So 5th grade science, the state allowed you to choose one additional performance growth target. It could have been instructional improvement, 5th grade science, CTE completers, ELD, and maybe one other. And for our district and the data that we have, this was the only one we qualified to do. So we were forced, it wasn't a choice. I wanted to do instructional improvement, which was measuring growth over time, kind of like what Gary was talking about. Our kids that are coming in super low, they might not necessarily be meeting grade level by the end, but they're closing that gap and they're showing high rates of improvement. It's one thing if Brie comes in and she's on level, but she drops or doesn't really gain anything. That's not the same type of instructional improvement as if Lisa came in and now we've got her way up here. But the data that the state's collecting around demographics, this was the only one that we could do. Because they don't have a plan for that, even though they put it out as an option. And I emailed them.
Nice.
Talked to them about it. So, yeah, so that's where we're at. And then high school, we were above the state in all of them. So that's great.
But
So, excuse me, so we're above the state, but I do have to say this, the state is so low.
Right.
Okay, so
Yeah,
that's
and
not.
that's frustrating to everybody, right? In a perfect world, you want at least 80% of your kids meeting all
No
of
perfect
these.
worlds,
Right.
no perfect worlds.
so yeah, she went back. So at the high school level math, the state average is 2.4 kids out of 10 get out of high school. So they still graduate.
Again, they pass the test. I don't know what the percentage is, but I can assure you, if it was required that they pass that test to graduate.
So this is back to the state exam thing. again.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. And I do think that might even be back in 27, 28. That's how long the pause is until.
They won't let,
27,
and they won't
28.
let us just do it because we want to.
When it was required, I can go back and look at the data, but it was required to pass the state test in math. Typically, we'd have a class of about 100 kids, about 12 would not pass it. Would be in that class that started their senior year. So there's the upper 80% of kids passing the state test in math. Now, the test has gotten far more difficult. B, they get one chance instead of 3. C, they don't have to give their best effort.
Right.
They can just, they know what's important is, did I get an A in algebra? Did I get an A in
So
geometry?
yeah, that isn't a good represent. That's what I was gonna ask. This doesn't mean that only 3 out of 10 kids get out of high school and can pass math. This is just the data we can collect.
And this is just the ODE summative data. Like this isn't even there. So if like that 8th grade one, the interim assessments, this is how nerdy I got on it, is that I was like, I had Becky pull every kid's grade because I wanted to see like, do all these parents think their kids are getting A+ in math and yet our kids can't meet this assessment? So I've kind of done some digging into it like that. Some of it too is just the test is a different format, right? So kids get on there and it's not their curriculum. It's a different pace. It's a different model. You would think by middle school and high school, they're used to that, but it definitely plays into it.
Why is it so different?
From what we're
Because the state writes it.
Well, it's just,
It's just how it's presented, so like the platform.
how you use the calculator, how you use the compass, how I click to get just going from a paper pencil test to this mode. And again, it gets easier middle school, high school, but the elementary kids, that's why we do lots of practice, and we try to really encourage, just that they can get used to holding the mouse and clicking and moving and knowing how to navigate that format.
And building stamina, like the ELA one is oftentimes, they might have to read 3 or 4 different articles, then write an opinion, and then answer some questions. Like just the steps to do all of these, and I think that's where sometimes kids get hung up. But one of the things that we do is you can go into this, I can grab a grade level, and I can look at a grade level for 3 years over time, right? So it's one, yeah, or I can look at a cohort. I can look at your class from 5th grade, 6th grade, 7th grade. So I watch all of those patterns. I look for all of that stuff so that we can see. I can also break down the standards and be like, okay, we're really going to push this. So right now in math, we're really pushing discourse. So student talking, right? That's what the research is really saying, that if the more we're sitting here talking about that problem and working it through, the better my performance will be, because it's not just this memorization of XYZ. It's about problem solving at a higher level. So that's some of the work that we're doing there. With ELA and science, science is hard for elementary just because they're so focused on math and ELA, right? And so what you hope is that you can combine that and intertwine it. And
Who's so focused?
the elementary teachers, right? I mean, if you ask any elementary teacher, you're going to say, where do you spend the bulk of your time? Math and ELA, right? We want our little kids to learn how to read and do math. And then we want the science piece. And what the science folks say is, well, the more science you do, the more engaged they are, the more excited they are to read and write about science. So it's.
What are we looking at the best practices? I mentioned it a while ago, Mississippi came up from like 49th in the country to like somewhere in the top half, because they went back to basics, right? They went to phonics training and stuff. Oregon went to skill, but there's also other things they were doing, things that are unpopular, kind of like the K235.
Yeah.
Where they were like pulling kids back, parents don't like
Yeah,
it. But
that's exactly what I was going to say. Some states are holding kids back.
are we looking at best practices and seeing these dramatic jumps and then going, what do they do?
Well, or they might say that's not a best practice. Like the mental health on those kids might be a real problem here in a few years once that state, their scores might look good, or they're changing their criteria. I think right now, for me, it's literacy and attendance.
Yeah.
That's what I would say.
But are we looking at other best practices? Whether they are in the school.
Like for school improvement?
Yeah.
Yeah, those best practices would be professional learning communities, high quality instruction, teacher PD. That's what they're saying. If you do these bigger instructional cultural shifts within your building and you hold to them, we're doing learning walks. We're going around and making sure that we're aligning our things and saying, don't teach it that way. And then you teach it that way. And then you teach it that way. And you teach it that way. And hopefully that kid does great. It's more about like, this is our system. So those are kind of the bigger, like system wide stuff.
Are we, because we only have a limited amount of time, right? And a lot of this made up of a lot of, it seems like a lot of philosophy, a lot of movies and shows being watched, more technology, which doesn't necessarily yield better education. Or we get rid of some of the extraneous teaching stuff and just do, because we need to raise these. Without those two, you don't get science.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens with digital instruction, because that's definitely a push right now, as they're saying, get the screens away from kids, right?
Yes.
Do more of the actual paper pencil. Your brain learns better if you write it down versus type it. So I do think there's some guidance coming around that, but no like.
Directives or anything?
Yeah. Although it might with like AI. And I do think that it's also on the docket, the West Coast, there's a lot of like people talking about K2 students not having screens at all.
Yeah, good.
So.
It's the only generation that's underperformed all of this. Every other generation has outperformed their parents essentially until the technology came in en masse. And now we are, I mean, again, that's the correlation thing. Can you prove it? But it's the one thing that's nothing is improved.
Well, and that also talks a lot about engagement, right? If you have a kid that has unlimited access to YouTube and video games at home, and then at school, we're trying to sit them down and
100%. What we're going to do, right?
yeah, so it's how do we engage? How do you build those relationships? How do you have a classroom that they want to be there? It's fun challenge.
I feel like attendance has changed a lot since we were kids too. I mean, like, when I was a kid, you didn't miss class, like, you didn't miss school, and mom whooped you, or the teachers got you when you got to school. Now it's like, we're just begging kids to come to school. Please, pretty please come.
But no, I don't agree with shiny things. I mean, we were talking about a year ago, well, almost a year ago, about kids have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Correct, but they have to get better. If you have to dedicate the first two schools to English and math, it might not be fun, but they'll get good at it, you know. And the last part of it, you're either gonna be high flying good, or you can do CTs, which I love. And like put a majority of kids only need like career development stuff, where they're gonna get into a career, not necessarily being a lawyer, a doctor, a scientist, like that. That's sort of should be. I feel like there's so much distraction in school.
There's a lot coming out of around CTE finishers and four-year graduation rates, that if you're a completer, I just read something on ODE, essentially, if completer means I do 2 or 3 courses at the high school. I take auto shop 1, 2, and 3. Those kids that are completers are graduating at like 97%. So they're just showing, like, if you are involved and you find a path that fits you, then you'll do better. Our focus for this year, these are some of the big, like, overarching things that we're doing. We're working on a K-12 MTSS. I know I've talked to you guys a little bit about it, with using our key performance indicators, which are attendance, behavior, and academics. How do we use those to support kids sooner and with more intention?
What's the definition of MTSS?
Multi-tiered systems of support.
What we're talking about is analyzing a kid, and Gary needs something different than Bree, who needs something different than Michelle. But make sure we have multiple tiers and paths and options to help support a kid to get them what they need.
And that we're also using the same indicators, because sometimes, and I don't see it as much anymore, but definitely when I was in the classroom and in a building, the loudest teacher would get the most help, right? Because maybe Brian's over there saying, my kids are fine, we're fine, we're fine. Even though maybe his kids are not doing as well, but because you're saying my kids need more help. So making sure that it's really targeted and systematic is important. Student learning at the forefront of our decision making. I cannot say enough about that, is how do we, our job is student learning. So what decisions do we make around that? Whether it's meetings, schedules, initiatives, professional learning, it can't be about how it will impact others. It's what are we doing for the kids? And then supporting staff with high quality professional development. I've really been trying to align the work that we're doing there so that it's a kind of a K-5 initiative, 6-12. It's different work, obviously, but a lot of the same goals. That's it.
Thank you.
Yes, May. I agree with that.
Yeah, and what I'll do is I'll share with you the one that has the other slides too, because it has a lot more. You guys scared me after last month. I was like, anybody here?
Oh, that's great.
Okay.
Thanks, Michelle.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Superintendent report.
Just touch quickly on a couple of things. Had our first, all the admin are back to work now. But our first meeting today is about 4 hours long, went over a wide range of topics. I did present to them, if you remember, I think it was last month, we talked to the grant writer on the school safety stuff. So they now kind of know that they have the task. I described the 2 grants. Did you email them to them?
Not yet.
Bree's gonna send out kind of examples to them to get, what's their kind of equipment wish list, what's their personnel wish list, if they have any. So I'll collect that over the next month and probably share that to you. And then at some point, the board needs to decide, yeah, let's engage with this person, let's focus on these things or not. So anyway, they're all back. I had a good meeting today. First day of fall sports was today. So all the teams are up and running, from cheer to cross country, football, volleyball, boys and girls soccer. Our air quality has remained relatively good. Oftentimes we get some fires here at the end of the month. Emmy's managing all that if we have issues, and when and where they can practice. And school registrations. We had new student registration last week, and all of our regular school registrations happen next week. So start to get a clear sense of numbers and
How many new kids did we get?
I don't know. Every
That's a
building,
loaded question.
yeah, every building had some. I've got a tracking document that each building kind of goes in and fills. But there was a handful of kids in almost every grade level. And that's all I have.
So compared to the students that graduated and left, did that same amount come in?
Good question. We don't know that, but our anticipated, it's probably gonna be around similar. The last 3 years, I think our kindergarten class has averaged 85. I don't remember what our graduating class was, but it was around that. But again, typically, if that graduating class, that's usually our smallest class because several kids graduate early, either in 3 years or 3.5. Several kids, a handful decide I'm going to get my GED or drop out. So that I can assure you that when, let's say there was 85 seniors that graduated last year, when they were in kindergarten, it was over 100. So that these classes of 85, when they graduate, it will be like graduating classes of 70. Okay.
All right. Discussion items. Now, we're gonna vote to award the Green Sun construction for the dirt movement and grass seeding in that area. We voted last month, I think it was, to allocate the money for it. The bid came in, we just need to make a vote to award that, to actually award the bid to the low bidder, which was Green Suns.
Yeah.
What is this additional?
Yeah, the amount was actually $2,500 over what you approved, but if we end up spending 202 or there's change orders and it's 210 or whatever, I'll just be drawing from our maintenance reserve. So I'll only be using 200,000 in bond dollars to pay for that. Anything over, I'll use our internal facilities reserve account. We also, off the topic a little bit, we got our first quote for the irrigation from Rexius. It was mid-80s, 86,000, I want to say. We're getting 2 more quotes, and then we'll be picking one of them to start that work in conjunction as soon as that dirt gets moved to get irrigation in place. So like WC shared tonight, it's just about awarding these people the contract. They start moving dirt 1 week from today, if you approve.
Make a motion to approve the contract award to Green Sun Construction.
Second, any discussion?
Yeah, she is.
Discussion, Kathleen?
Sorry, that was my kids.
Perfect. All those in favor?
Hi.
Motion passes 5-0. Kids want to pipe in. All right, next thing on the list is HCE discussion. First, we'll start with passing this around. I got you. I'm not hurting anymore. If you could pick a date and a time that's off.
I tried to click on the thing. It says.
It wouldn't let you in. Yeah, I heard that. Well, I'll enter all these. The top one's in person on the 24th. The bottom is Zoom on the 20th. Kathleen, were you able to see the sign up chart?
I think you can look at it. She can
There.
look at it.
Sorry. Yes.
Is there a time and in person or Zoom that you prefer?
Yeah, I'm gonna schedule probably that Wednesday at 5. Because I should be off work in time.
I don't think Wednesday is an option. We're down to 2 days. It's Monday and Saturday, right?
Oh, I thought there's Wednesday. Okay. Let me relook and get back to you.
Okay, if you can text me, are you thinking in person then?
I'm gonna try. If it's at 6, I can make it. But otherwise, yeah, I'll have to Zoom.
I think, hold on a second, when Lisa's done, we'll see if we can work it out, because I think I picked the latest one.
Thank you. Joe.
This is on,
24th is Monday, correct?
the 24th is Thursday, this is in September,
The 4th of the Monday,
August.
August, oh. thank
next
you.
week, next
Thank
Monday.
you.
Yeah, it's Monday or Saturday.
24th or 29th, is that what it was?
Yeah,
24th is,
Monday
Monday.
and that's the only one,
in person.
okay, so that's, hold on. 6:30, I'll go
Is-
ahead and do.
Sorry, Bria, I didn't hear you. Is the Monday at 5 open?
I believe so. I haven't seen the list in a second.
Just 2 seconds.
Kathleen wants Monday at 5, so.
Monday at 5. Where am I, 1:15 to 2, and that's the 24th, that's 8:24.
Yeah, I think there were,
Thank you.
there's 2 seconds, Kathleen.
He's got it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, 'cause I think I did read something. Yeah, so 5:15 to 6 is available on Monday, the 24th.
Sold.
Awesome, thank you guys.
Be well.
All right. Next discussion we need to set 2 dates. 2 work sessions, one in September, one in October. Or I don't remember which one's which, but one's an hour and a half and one's 2 hours long.
September was an hour and a half.
September's an hour and a half.
And October was 2 hours.
I'm proposing we don't do that on a school board meeting night because it just makes it way too long. So that means we need to pick a different day in September to do an hour and a half work session with human capital. And we need to do one in October that's 2 hours long with them.
Okay, let's start on the first one.
So September, if we were to do it, well, let's see, the 24th. So September 24th is the school board meeting.
September 21st.
First, sorry, yeah, September 21st. So I'd say, well, 7th is Labor Day, so really kind of leaves us the 14th if we want to do it on a Monday. Is there, anybody have a preference?
So the choice is the 14th or the 21st?
Or the 15th, the 16th, the 17th, the 18th?
Yeah, you-
That'd have to be on Monday.
Okay, I'm good for the 15th or 17th.
You're good on the 15th or the 17th?
Which is a Tuesday or Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
It's all rough for me now. All real bummer. What are we talking? We gotta meet with Kathleen, is that what we're doing?
Yeah.
And how long you say? An hour and a half?
Hour and a half.
Yeah, so
So it could be,
September.
it could be 6 to 7:30. We could pick the time as well.
Maybe get 7 in the morning, they do it earlier.
Yeah.
It
That was
It
fun.
could be 7 in the morning. It depends on what everybody works for me. I'm sure we're gonna, so
He knows me.
Kathleen, can you hear me?
Don't know which Kathleen you're talking about. Yes, I hear you.
You, Ms. Pizzola, during the week, what's the earliest you can get here for a meeting?
The earliest is 5.
Yeah, 5.
5?
Oh,
5.
Yeah,
yeah.
right?
What is it, 5 AM?
You're at 5 a.m.
He was stuck in morning, so she had to.
5 PM. I have.
No,
I prep.
I don't wake before 8.
Okay, Mark, are you good at 5?
That's good. On the 14th, right?
Monday, right? Yeah.
Well, Lisa said 15th or 17th.
And it's a
Tuesday or Thursday.
Monday.
Tuesday or Thursday.
And
What you got? On either of those 2 days?
14th.
Or can we come a little, I need to be in Veneta at 6. So just
We need it at 6 on what day?
the 14th.
You need to be in Anita at 6. So 5. No, I'm not gonna get out of the meeting until 6:30.
We're sure it's an hour and a half?
Yes.
Yep.
That's what she scheduled. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously if somebody needs to leave, it ain't the end of the world if somebody isn't there, but I think it is important that you get order. But I think if Lisa could be there for an hour and Kathleen knew that going in, she could get to the keel. I think they'll be talking about the main thing is criteria, timelines, salary, confidential or not, just starting to get organized around this.
Start this process.
I'm good with that, because I might leave a half hour early too.
Go ahead.
I might leave a half hour early too, so don't feel bad.
Are we talking the 14th?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so 5 o'clock?
Mark, are you good on the 14th?
Mhm.
Kathleen, you good on the 14th?
Monday.
Monday, the 14th at 5 o'clock it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At the district office, right?
Yeah, that'll be in this room.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's that one. Smooth. Let's, let me put it on my phone real quick.
Go to October.
Let's go.
Over
Let's see.
2 hour meeting.
October's the same thing. It's with HCE,
But long.
longer, it's 2 hours.
2 hours.
So,
Do we have a work session or anything already?
Nothing scheduled,
no,
but for October.
October.
The only thing we have for October is the regular.
Right, but I'm just wondering, but we've had talks.
Yeah.
And I think we are having a work session in September.
We are.
Isn't that what we
I
talked
think
about?
so. What was it about?
Well,
Wrong.
so we could discuss,
The work session in September was this.
What's this?
Decided-
Okay, then I'm
Oh,
double.
Board meeting then.
well, because I don't want to be here from 5 o'clock.
I don't want to be here 2 weeks in a row for an hour and a half.
Mm-mm.
That's why I proposed to do it on separate days, because we lose everybody's focus when it goes that long. And I thought we'd need a work session in September because of another reason was because that night we will be voting on the K-235.
That night?
Yeah,
On the 21st, right?
on the 21st, we will be voting on that night. So if we want any more discussion, between now and then, we're gonna have that work session.
I would rather just cram it on one crappy day.
I can do it too.
Hold on, let me look again. So would that mean that we're just gonna bump it up 2 hours or we're gonna bump it back?
Well, I wouldn't, but wait,
I would suggest,
Well,
if you
6:30.
decided to do it on the board meeting night, you'd have work session at 5, regular meeting at 6:30. If that's the way the board wanted to go.
yeah, I mean, she wants 2 hours. We'd have to be here if the board.
No, you're talking, this is September off.
Oh, we're going back to September. Okay, I thought we had that locked. There's no way we can have a work session to go through the K-235 and
No.
an hour and a half.
If you think you might have a work session on a different topic in September, definitely can't do it that night. If you schedule this, then you're just not having a work session. Obviously, the board could discuss K-235 in the regular meeting, but if we want to have lots of discussion, like WC's alluding to, we start to get here hour 3 and 4 and everything.
I'll bring snacks.
I want to go like the crop of the wins, final or something, that's fine.
I just only have so many days, man,
Yeah, I get that too.
you know?
Yeah.
The other thing you do, if you just stick with what you planned for September and October, you could look at making that your.
Yeah, that's.
And you could move, even though it's 2 hours, you could move the regular board meeting back to 7 and go 5 to 7 is with Kathleen. Regular board meeting at 7.
In October, you're talking about.
No,
Let's do that.
Wait,
So keep September.
September, right?
No,
Keep September,
keep in September, are we?
Probably.
On the 14th.
Monday, the 14th, 5 o'clock. Plan on 5 to 6:30. I'll let Kathleen know.
Mhm.
She should go fast because she's gonna lose some people.
Mhm.
And in October, I'll leave it up to you. My suggestion would be move the board meeting back to 7. Have your work session at 5. 5 to 7 will be you with Kathleen. I won't attend either one of those. I'll be here in the building. And then the board meeting would start at 7.
I'm good with that.
Yeah.
And then you'll have a couple months of, you won't need to do anything, she'll start doing all her back end stuff, getting the posting out. It'll really be January when you're gonna have to schedule more stuff.
Will she have printouts, handouts?
I can ask her to, anything
Please.
she's sharing, will you make a note of that?
I actually need to have that in writing.
Okay, I think you got it set.
Okay, so 5 o'clock, September 21st, Monday, 5 o'clock is, so 5 to 7, right?
Well.
Yeah, because it's 2 hours.
September's an hour and a half.
September 14th, Monday, the 14th, 5 to 6:30.
Right,
October, the night of our board meeting, from 5 to 7, which I think is the 21st, and then regular board meeting at 7.
October is 19th.
19th, okay.
5 to 7 is, I'll just say work session, I'll make notes in it, and then 7 o'clock.
Is the regular board meeting. Bump that out a half hour.
Thank you. And it's 2 hours, okay.
The only other thing I got left, I don't think we need to deal with it. Yeah, we'll deal with that at the first meeting. I'm gonna skip it. All right. First reading of proposed policy updates.
The only first reading with the result of that new legislation passed. And we'll turn it over to Mark, you had a hand up and.
Yeah, based on obviously the House Bill 4079, which is pretty beefy, very specific on everything they want. And then I looked at the OSBA proposal, which is, as I understand it, well, we use a lot of their suggestions, right, like their proposal. So if that's the one we're looking to propose, as I understand it, everything that's in parentheses is like everything's based on the law, right? So it's been to the lawyers, that's what they proposed, and everything's in parentheses is like the additional things you may wish to do. Even though it reads like you shall, or things like that, these are the suggestions based on the law. Everything's not in parentheses is what's taken from the House bill. So the copies, they weren't color copies, but the things in parentheses in that first paragraph, I had them stricken. The strikeout function. Except the last line, the district will provide ongoing training to designate staff to ensure compliance with this policy. So the next paragraph, it's strikeout because it's a lot of the additional things. Most of our policies are like single.
You're talking off of something that you don't have that.
You don't have it? Oh, I think you have it.
Yeah, they have it.
Oh, you guys have this?
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, yes, I made copies of what he had,
Yeah.
Oh,
and I gave you each a copy.
I already read this. Yeah.
Yep.
I apologize. I didn't have it.
Well, House bill. Yeah, you have this one.
The only, I read through this quick, I didn't see anything, I don't know about if number 3, what I will do is, I'll go through all this. I'll send it to OSBA exactly as Mark provided it and see if they have any concerns. The only real concern I was wondering was, do they care if we eliminate number 3 on page 2? Because that is in a bracket.
It is covered by JOA and JOB, which is directory information and PII.
Yeah, so neighbors might say, no, that's information only, you don't need.
It's redundant. I know often they reference them, which is fine to keep a reference in there because we're not
It gets redundant, yeah.
Yeah, if it gets redundant, it's ridiculous. So as long as what we propose isn't gonna go against one of our existing one, that's fine. So this is, nothing I've done here has said disregard JOA, information like that. So that's what.
I'll still send it to them to make sure we're,
Yeah,
I think we're good to go. My only suggestion, as far as the change would be, I think it would be beneficial if the superintendent is the primary point of contact and either the director of K-12s or the principal is the backup.
So the only reason I did it that way around is because I know that if it's something, I know when law enforcement comes down, the principals will deal with it and then you will probably be notified and come down anyway, which is fine. You're free to do that kind of stuff. I would expect it, especially someone like this. I think it's gonna be rare, but if it could happen, I know you'd be there anyway. So I wouldn't have an issue. I don't know if it changes any kind of, I doubt if it changes any kind of authority since you are the chief executive for the school district. You know what I mean? So it shouldn't take any power away. I just figured that's the way it would naturally go. The principal will be involved, will be the point, because you want to limit who it is, right? Principal, building principal, and then you. And then later verbiage in this policy essentially says that the superintendent will be the alternative. And it's kind of suggests that anyway, or it says in one of these points. So I put it that way around. If you want to change it, if everybody wants it, so Gary.
I'll talk to, for my thinking is that, we've kind of been doing this for the last year, meeting, I've trained people on, hey, if Grayson folks show up, I don't expect you to know this, all the recommendations, which are now law, but we knew this was coming. And the first call was just, don't even do anything, just tell them, hey, we'll be right with you, sir. Call Gary. Okay, I'm coming over.
So if you will, to me, it doesn't actually matter. It's gonna be, like I said, it was just a matter of probably be the principal who's in first contact, and I'm guessing that they would be like, let's contact, Gary anyway.
Yeah, I don't know if there is enough thing that.
No, but on the other hand, if the policy should reflect how it would really happen, is that your direction, which is based on this, our direction, I guess, is no, freeze everything, speak to Gary first. Bring him down, he'll be the point of contact.
I like that only because it's one person, whether it's Gary or superintendent, it's one person that has to know exactly what to do. So they say, hold on, freeze, let's get the one person in charge here.
Is that something you can just?
And I'll just chime in and just say that depending on how the day is going in the building, like that is a really hard pull away sometimes for a principal. Like if they're doing all the other things in the building,
Yeah.
like that's very stressful.
I would figure it'd be the highest priority, but who knows, it could be,
Yeah,
Life
it's
safety stuff.
be high priority, but.
yeah,
But
but.
I mean, there could be a.
Yeah.
It's very
It
stressful.
might-
Yeah, crash out, something going, yeah,
So like you're all okay if
Yeah.
we just switch
yes.
primary being, and I call it point of contact in, and it does in the OSBA one talks about designated primary point of contact. The other verbiage was immigration liaison. I just kept it as primary point of contact, you know, it's sort of like state law and that's what OSBA is suggesting you call it. So yeah, flip flop the superintendent is the primary point of contact and the alternate
They can do the
person
principal.
would be the principal. And then there's another strikeout down here, in coordination with, reviewing and responding to requests from federal immigration authorities. It then says in coordination with and under the direction of the superintendent or designee. That's redundant,
Right.
because, oh, I'm sorry, 0.5 on the second page.
Got it.
It's, again, just redundant. These, our principles, our policies are like a page long typically. There's a couple of 2 pages and this is going on for 4 pages. Because again, it's a suggestion. They're trying to hit all the points of the law, but it doesn't mean you have to
Right.
adopt it as long as the spirit of the House bill, irrespective of how you think of it, you know, political ideation wise.
Yes.
As long as it's, you know, we're in compliance with that. I think that is not double sided, thank God.
Yeah, I don't see any problems with any of that.
And then required notice, same day note. Oh man, I didn't take my N. I need to put the N back in there on same day notice and required notice.
Oh,
I try to read it.
oh, yeah,
Read it in white. Yeah.
right here on one under required notice. His N disappeared.
That's where it talks about expediency a lot in the House bill and in this suggested policy, it talks about expediency. But then there's a lot of delaying stuff, which it wants everybody in the whole, all students, all parents to know, to be aware of this. And I have a sneaky suspicion that is very much political. And I want the whole, if God forbid that were to happen, I want the whole scenario to be safe. Those who are directly affected, student families, it talks about a community representative. I think that essentially means like a lawyer, like an immigration lawyer, whoever needs to come down to represent. But if you were to read that House bill, there's a lot of things that could be construed as like a delaying tactic. But again, I'm not going against that. All I'm saying is it references expediency, so same day notice must be provided to, and then lists out who it is, and I haven't changed that at all.
Okay, I think we'll get this, will you email your version to me?
Yeah, I haven't put in my email yet, so it's just on the document.
And then I'll, in the coming days, I'll have it lined out, read exactly like this, with the only switch being the superintendent. I'll send it to OSBA, get their blessing, let you know next time, or as soon as I hear back from them. I don't see any concerns.
Yeah, and the other one we already talked about, the second reading stuff.
Okay, so this is.
But this is K&A from OSBA, is their model sample policy.
Okay, so this is from
This is
OSBA.
yeah, I
It's
didn't,
all new, so there's not one that exists.
Right, I got that, but
we have K10, which just talks about
Right.
community engagement, and that's to do with law enforcement specifically, like what happens when the cop shop or sheriff's department.
but you have just taken this
Mhm.
and made your notes.
And well, that's it. That's all I did was I struck those out, and in red, it's in light gray for it wasn't color copy. School principals, everything's in light gray that I changed.
He basically did what I would have done if I was making changes on this document where it's red and a different color or struck out in a different color so that you can see the change, but it's a gray copy, so.
Yeah,
I get you.
this one's. This is just a few reds, and then a couple of. I like it.
Yeah,
We're not voting.
I appreciate you digging through
Oh, yeah, it's sort of honest.
it. All right. So that's the first readings.
But we don't have AR, right?
We do not. And to me, I mean, we could eliminate a lot of this stuff and put it into an AR, but again, it's just creating another one.
Yeah.
I think everything that's in here needs.
AR is more procedure rather than
Right.
policy, so.
The stuff that's on page like 3.
And how you actually do it is.
Yeah.
Okay. But would that be considered a second reading if it came on AR next time we come to it in the second?
Yeah, in my mind, we should just stick with this policy. It has everything in there.
Just the one,
Yeah, we don't
don't do
need
the AR 1 or 2.
I
Okay,
agree.
okay,
what are the copies of the ones that they?
I don't know where the AR just went.
No, this thing we definitely need to do.
Thank you, I might have grabbed my.
This log, I think will be a good document for us.
The second one now?
AR2.
Yeah, that's what he's looking at is the log.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
I read through this a bit. I don't think it hurts to,
Highly recommended.
yeah. I don't think it hurts to have it. I think most of the stuff was described, but again, keep in mind, I think from my knowledge, this has happened at one school in the state of Oregon ever. It was Hermiston. I was telling WC this, and it was for a staff member, not even students. But under the rare situation that this occurs, the benefit of an AR is, frankly, I'd probably print it off as I was driving over there, just kind of delineates all the steps cleanly, and it's outside of this policy. So I guess I would recommend.
Where was that log? Was that on SBA?
What's that?
That log?
I haven't seen.
It's all three of them. They dropped all three.
Two. It's the third.
The AR 2 is the log and the AR 1 is just the.
Regular procedures of how we
Yes.
implement that policy. I don't know why they want this log, but it would be something that, the principal could do or
It's in the agenda.
the superintendent could do. But the three first readings are the K and A that Mark just went over. The AR that describes what we actually do to implement K and A. And then this log that they want us to keep when this happens, essentially who the officer was, what agency, how many were present, what was the time, nature of the request. They had a warrant.
I wonder if I could have Adobe and just to show.
They had a subpoena, documents and all. We've taken a copy, kind of reminds people what to do.
I don't think I've seen that.
Maybe not, but it was just linked in the agenda when.
I don't have Adobe. I think that's why I didn't show us an openable file on my computer.
I will say that there was something with board book over the weekend that said that not all attachments and links to things inside, they were doing some sort of repair over the weekend as well, so.
Okay. Maybe tomorrow, let's send them both of these ARs. There was much less bracketed information in the AR, we had options on, but again, just summarized, give some other special situations too, if this happens at a football game or a field trip or whatever, just kind of describes how to address it.
And for the public who are listening, or anytime law enforcement involved, especially if it's this kind of thing in a very, progressive state like Oregon, they plan these things that are smart. It's not like people push out on the medias to they're going to kick in the door and grab a kid or kick and scream.
Right.
It makes it seem like their media presence is hostile and they're going to shoot and things like that. The public being notified of this stuff by the media, making to a frenzy, that's when things get dangerous. So they'll do the same thing we do, go real quiet and speak to hey, we need to speak to a kiddo. And even then we try not to disrupt, the whole verbiage about disrupting the classroom is going to disrupt the whole school activity. It will if they want it to be every student and parents who've got nothing to do with getting notified. I don't think it's going to have much here in this community, but in Eugene it will become, they want that. And I'm like, but you're just coaching people on how to handle this kind of stuff. It's very much speak to superintendent, speak to principal. We have these things, we tell them why, so there's no secrets, and we just like to speak for this kid or whatever it is. But again, this is a very specific thing. Integration is different. And then you come with a judicial rather than just administrative, if it was something like that.
Yeah. Okay.
How about the Hermiston? Doesn't every employee have to be E-verified to work in the state or in any state? Right to work kind of thing as a.
Yeah, I don't know the specifics of that. That wouldn't happen here. And I think it might have actually been, again, I'm going kind of a hearsay of a subcontractor, so like a food service or a bus or something.
Still, I think we fully everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Off of this subject. So are we having a work session in September 21st?
Yes.
September 14th. 5 to 6:30.
Okay, so that though is for the superintendent.
Yep.
Okay, a work session for K 2, 3, 5.
Is before the meeting.
Well, we don't have one scheduled.
Haven't.
If you want
Yeah.
one, you can decide now, you can decide in 2 weeks. If you feel like we need to talk about this more. Right now, it's just an item on the agenda. You can have any discussion there or no discussion at all. Someone can make a motion and we vote. Or if you want to schedule a work session to, maybe you're gonna have more questions, or again, I'm gonna try to send you a few things you want to talk about this some more. We could, from my perspective, we've been talking about it for a year. Might just be time to decide if we're doing this or not, but it's up to you guys. Certainly could schedule one for.
I was gonna wait until the week or two before after we get a little more information, and then I was gonna call each one of you and ask you. Cause again, I don't wanna sit around and, honestly, I don't wanna sit around for an hour and argue about it. Like, we all have a different view, right? And I almost feel like what Mr. Carpenter said, I mean, you need to vote and get it done.
Maybe.
Like, I mean, we can sit around and talk and we've talked all the points.
You
To death.
Yeah, you can get some more information.
Yeah.
Make a decision.
Then we'll make a decision and vote on it. Be done with it.
If it blows into a discussion, then.
Yeah, I mean, but I think at this point, we've all talked about it.
Yeah.
A
And there'll
lot.
still be as much time to talk about it on the regular agenda as you want.
Yeah. So right now, I wasn't planning on putting one on just arbitrarily. But we'll see. And then if concerns come up between now and then, contact me and they can always be had. But we're gonna have lots of meetings in the next 2 months.
Okay.
That's good.
Moving on to second reading, proposal policy updates. This occurs board action. Am I gonna read all those or?
No.
All right, y'all got it.
Do one motion for all of them.
And
Yep.
can I get one motion for all of them?
The motion to approve all the policies as presented.
Second.
Discussion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. All right. Personnel, licensed employee resignation, new hire, transfer, and other board action. There are 2 resignations, Corky Franklin, middle school PE, and hiring of Benjamin Matthew at Elmira Elementary. Is there a motion to approve?
Who replaced Mr. Franklin? Courtney?
Jake O'Connor,
Jake O'Connor.
he
It's a
was,
fine lad.
he's gonna be back, from his summer vacation on the 19th, so I'll get to meet him.
All right. Is there a motion to approve the resignation and the hiring?
Make a motion to approve the resignation of Corey Franklin and the hiring of Benjamin Matthew.
You have a second? Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion passes 5-0. Late items. Anybody got any late items?
One quick item, the first topic we talked about at our admin meeting this morning, I invited in Deputy Cole Parker. For a couple things. One, get him in front of his administrators and remind him how he's here to help support us. 2, they got, one guy left, a new guy, invited him to do with his new folks, tours of all our buildings, make sure they know layouts, that kind of stuff. And then 3, there's been a little bit of change in their practice. Historically, right, the citizens of Veneta pay to support that service, but they've always really dispatched directly to schools anywhere in the district. They're getting some pressure from the city to not do that as much. So when we have an incident at the school, let's say there was a fight over the weekend that happened at the skate park, we can get a hold of him directly. When there's a kid at the school that's committed a crime and they live in Notai outside of the city, we're to call main dispatch. They'll be dispatching somebody from town, not the Veneta officer. So obviously any emergencies, that kind of thing, they'll immediately be there. But when we know the issue we're calling them from does not involve the city of Veneta in any way, we're to go through the dispatch office. So
So you could find out where the kid lives, and then if he's from Benita, you can call
we can get the local guys.
Gotcha.
So I don't think it'll change too much, might be a little slower response for some lower end things, but, anyways, he attended and we had that conversation.
Was there any cost involved?
I'm gonna ask Carl about that, that's crap. I don't wanna ask Carl about that, that's crap.
You know what else?
Anyways. All right, any more late items, upcoming events? During the meeting, 8:05.
Thank you.
What team?
All CDC, I'll email Kathleen tomorrow, the dates and times.